Welcome to Mediocre Rumble Brothers. I'm Jordan, your host, and the team Corey, Edwin, and Udon. Today we'll be discussing on popular games that are overrated. But before we do, let's go around and discuss what we did this week. Corey, how about yourself?
All right, so I've been playing a lot of Stellar Blade. I'm having a lot of fun. The combat is like really cool. The more moves you get, it starts to open up like a lot of cool combos that you can do and like chain enemy attacks around you and everything. So I've been having a lot of fun playing that. I'm playing the monthly game. Started that. I got my copy of Yuden Chronicles in from a Kickstarter. I haven't popped it in. I'll probably pop that in later this month because I don't think I have a lot of other things on my radar, but I have to check to see what's releasing this summer. But I don't know if it's any big games that I've seen in the news. So maybe I'll play some indies or something. But yeah, just starting up the monthly and putting a lot of time into Stellar Blade.
A lot of Stellar Blade. Boobies.
Hey, it's part of the good part of that game.
Souls-like was something to look at. That's why I'm not touching it. The Souls-like part, to be specific.
Well, Udon, do you want to go then?
Sure. It's like I haven't been playing Stellar Blade. Yeah, same thing. Just starting the monthly game, something that I'm really into, so that sucked a lot of time away from me. Playing, I actually went back to play some Ark Survival Evolved because I got the itch to play that. And I'm still just neck deep in playing shit on my GameCube, reliving stuff for nostalgia's sake. Like I said, I have Witcher 3 and Ghost of Tsushima waiting for me, and I just don't give a fuck. They can continue waiting over there. At some point, Baldur's Gate 3, my physical copy, should come in at some point this month, so hopefully that I'll probably actually stop and play that once that comes in. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty not doing a whole lot. Work's keeping me busy, so I don't have a whole lot to do during the week other than my mobile games. So, but that's a broken record. So, not a lot there. So, Edwin, what'd you do?
So I'm almost done with Cyberpunk, though it's taking a lot longer because it's just like a lot of back and forth trying to finish the DLC before doing the final quests. But other than that, I haven't been playing anything else besides that. And then the last thing that I played, not counting the monthly game that I can't even talk about, I started Cult of the Lamb, and I haven't seen any gameplay on that on it. But it's just like when I first started, and this turned out to be a completely different game than what I initially thought. I knew it was like an Animal Crossing type of thing, but it's more of a kind of like a base builder and roguelike. So you build up your base with like your followers, and then you can literally do whatever the hell you want to them. Like the further you get into the game, the more options you have of what to do with them. I think right now I'm able to sacrifice them to myself if they misbehave, or if I just choose to kill them. And then once you get all your stuff situated in your base, then you can go on a crusade to kill all the other gods that are chaining up your god. So it's a very interesting game. Yeah. Jordan?
All right. So yeah, me, I would just love to just say what I have been playing. But again, I got to keep it a secret for the month. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know. Yeah, for you. Anyways, let's stop.
It's been a lot of fun. Every other fucking time he talks about it is, God, I was so pissed off doing this. God, I'm so angry doing this. It's fun though.
Oh yeah. What is it? I feel kind of bad. I haven't been playing the Helldivers as much. I feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, I've been just kind of waiting.
You can still play it.
I know, I still can. But that's basically all I have. Really, it's been really quick. Nothing too much on my part. Just I'm just gonna wait for the end of this month to come through, and then we can talk more about it. Corey, do we have any news for us today?
The one pressing thing that's kind of happening this week that was very surprising is the Sony and Helldivers issue that is going on. So what happened was Sony is forcing people that are playing the game on PC to set up a PlayStation Network account in order to play it, even if they're not going to play crossplay. And so naturally, a lot of people are pissed. The game went from being like one of the highest praised games on Steam to a fourth of the reviews are now negative, and I'm talking like 200,000 negative reviews, putting the review status to mixed or mostly negative. I think 170 countries or something can't even have PlayStation Network. Now, it's questionable on what those countries might be, but they literally cannot play the game because they cannot access the PlayStation Network, even if they're playing on PC. So the community managers are trying to figure this out, and it sucks because people are dogpiling on the studio that made Helldivers when this is a Sony move. So, like, Sony's basically fucking up Helldivers 2 for the community. And
Yes,
you could say, like, it's just an account, but there was some things where Sony was changing the TOS to reflect that it always said something, because somebody screenshotted the TOS beforehand saying this game won't need you to have an account it requires you to have an account, and people are getting refunds on Steam. So Helldivers 2 is having a shit show publicity stunt going on right now, and it's kind of sad because the game itself was so awesome for what it is, and to see this happen, it'll probably bounce back. But I mean, do you guys got any thoughts on like Sony's move? Do you think that what they're doing is like just a non like a nothing burger, or like, because I think that if you're gonna play it and you don't play crossplay, then why do you need an account?
Breaking news: Sony shoots themselves in the foot yet again. They're kind of
Yeah.
running out of room there. There's more hole than foot at this point. Um, I I think it's not even like I agree in the sentiment. It's like, oh, it's just an account, make it. But it's like what you just said. There's like what 100 something countries that you can't even make a PSN account, that people have bought the game and can no longer play it. And yes, granted, what that population actually is, I'm not sure. But even if it was like 5 people, 10 people, 2 people, one guy who bought the game and can't play it anymore because he has to make a PSN account, but because his country doesn't let him, like, what the fuck? That's fucking lame. I don't care if it's
Yeah.
one. I don't care. It's like Larry over there in Madagascar can't play fucking Helldivers anymore. You know, I feel
I
bad
want
for
to play
Larry, but
Helldivers with Larry.
yeah, it's like, it's ridiculous. So it's not even like it's not. It's like I get it. I'm on the side of like the people who can do it. Just fucking do it if you want to play the game. I understand. Trust me, I don't like making accounts for fucking everything I use either. It's just another hoop to jump through. But it's mostly about those people who like the game and can't actually fucking play it anymore because of how their country is or whatever. So, and
Yeah.
again, that doesn't even. It could just be like 100 people. Like the actual impact on the game could be completely negligible. But that's not really the point, is it?
Yeah.
They paid for the game. They want to fucking play it, and they can't fucking play it anymore. And Steam is letting those people refund it even if they played it for more than 2 hours because they know it's bullshit. So because you
Yeah.
can't fucking play the
Yeah.
game anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's
It's
going to destroy the morality of all the creators out there too, because they're being held back, and it's now making Helldivers look like bad. You know, like they don't know what they're doing, and now that you're going to destroy them wanting to make better games, they're just like, fuck this. It's going to be obviously Sony's just taking range of whatever the hell they want to do, and that's just it's not helping. It's causing more problems than anything. That's just not how you work with a team, especially ones that actually made a pretty damn good game that's coming through. That's just not
Yeah,
the
I
way to
would
do
have
things.
treaded carefully. I would have treaded carefully on that because it was like a $40 game. Everybody loved it. It had awesome. It's not like the gameplay's changing. The game is still cool as shit, but it's like, what are you doing? You do that to anything else. Don't do that to that, because that was like your golden goose, and then you basically were like, "Hey, watch this." They hate it when you do this.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, fucking Telltale. You look up in the corner. Everyone hated that. It's
Yeah,
like,
and it sucks because it sets like a really bad precedent for people that want to publish games on other systems. you want to put your game on, like, I would say arguably the most wide selling console. I mean, the Switch is there, but it's not as powerful. So if you're talking about like graphics and power with the popularity, I mean, you want your game on PlayStation, but they go and do stuff like this, and with their censorships and nonsense, it's like,
You just put a
well,
bad
damn it,
taste in the mouth of the gaming community.
like it's like, is it worth fucking with them because of what's going on, or do you just stick to putting it on PC? I'm curious. Whenever like the Switch 2 comes out and we have a more powerful Switch, like that might change the landscape a little bit because people will be able to have a higher fidelity product. But
I mean, it's just weird that it's just like at first they didn't give a shit. They're like, yeah, throw it on Steam, whatever. It's like, oh, it's successful. Fuck, we need to reel those people in. It's like, make them account.
You didn't
fucking think of this in the first place.
You've done that yourself, Anakin.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, I was talking to Corey about this when we were initially talking about this, but in my own little sphere of fandoms, they're re-releasing a visual novel called Tsukihime on the PlayStation and the Switch. And I'm a huge Fate, Stay Night, Grand Order, whatever, Fate / literally anything I'm a nerd of. Tsukihime is like a Fate adjacent property, like it takes place in the same universe as far as I know, and is a really big popular visual novel among the Type Moon community. And I was like, oh, I want to play that, and I hadn't pre-ordered it yet. And then like a couple days ago, I saw on one of my feeds that Type Moon had come out with an announcement being like, "Hey, so the physical edition, the limited edition physical copy of Tsukihime for the PlayStation is going to be censored due to Sony's like fucking policies and shit." But the Nintendo Switch are in. Keep in mind, this is the physical art book. This is not the game. It's the art book that comes with the game is being censored for the ones who buy it on the PlayStation. For the Nintendo one, it is not censored. And while the games are remaining the same, just the fact that this physical art book is being censored is completely insane. And I was like, well, thank God I didn't pre-order it. Now I'm definitely going to buy the Switch one. I guess you guys really don't like money. It's like, because I guarantee everyone else who didn't already pre-order the PlayStation one is like, well, I guess I'm getting the Switch one. It's only a visual novel. The Switch is more than good enough for that.
Well, the censorship practices, and it's not even like that big of a deal. It's not like. And I'm not saying the censorship isn't a big deal. Like, that is the big deal. The things that they're censoring is just like so, like, pick and choose. It's like, I don't understand what you want because you allow certain things, but then certain other things you don't allow. And it's like, why not? And then they hit you with the "because I said so" answer, which drives me insane. Not an answer I like.
It's not fucking. It's hypocrisy. That's all it is with Sony, because it's you like, granted, I don't know what's being censored. Apparently, people who have like the Japanese art book, who have already seen it, know what it is. And as far as I know, at least those visual novels, it's not like a hentai game. I'm sure it's probably something having to do with probably like a swimsuit or something. But even then, it's like, that's so benign. It's like fucking, you can't look at anime cleavage, but full blown sex scenes in The Last of Us, that's A-okay, buddy. It's like, cool, all right, I see what this is.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate has it, and I think Cyberpunk also has like sex scenes.
Yeah, I mean, you just see dick and balls in Cyberpunk. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, I mean, I guess that one's not okay, but these ones are. Like, I don't understand. It's like, just like, have some sort of like
consistency. I don't even care if it's bad. At least just be consistent.
Well, wasn't that the whole point of?
Let me boycott you entirely.
Yeah, wasn't that the whole point of putting age like things on those damn titles? Like, you knew what you're getting yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's ratings for a reason, and
that should be okay. If you have the fucking rating for each slate that this is going to have nudity in it, then fucking show nudity.
Yeah, it's really weird, and like, of course, there are people that take it to the extremes, obviously, because that's the internet and that's kind of how it works. But it's more of like, I bought this thing because they showed me stuff, and then they change it on you, and you're like, what the hell? Pokemon Go recently did this, where they just updated and made all the characters look crappy. And it's like, what happened?
Don't you like this? It's like, no.
That was more like you. Ugly.
Well, the thing that's weird, too, is like, they made everybody have this. And it's like, you could have just given the option to the players that would like to have that. say like, hey, do you want to change the character models? And you're like, cool. Because it's not like a multiplayer game where we're all like running around. It's not World of Warcraft, so it's just like, well, I don't want mine to look like that. Couldn't I
Yeah.
just say no and then keep the old models? Or just like, why just take away the thing and then put the other thing? Because especially if you bought cosmetics because you thought they looked really cool, now the character models are different and they don't look as cool. So you're like, great, I spent like, $50 on this like, outfit or whatever it was to like make my avatar look like I want them to, and now they look stupid.
Yeah, it's like because you just mentioned World of Warcraft, and I already don't give two shits about Blizzard, but that's like current Blizzard. Like when they came out with the big like visual update for World of Warcraft back in like Battle for Azeroth, I want to say it's either that one or the previous expansion, where they literally like redid every single like race's model and their rig and their animations. Like the amount of work that went into that had to be astronomical. Yet at the end of the day, they're like, oh yeah, if you don't want to see all this new shit and just keep it to the same models that we've had for like 20 something years, just press this button.
Yeah,
It's like they gave you the option.
The Master Chief Collection. Just press select and turn it off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you want to play an old one? All right, just press a button. In fact, we'll make it super easy. You don't even have to go to a menu. You should play the game back and forth all you want to, buddy.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. That stuff is weird to me. Like, and the reason why it's so strange to me is because, like, it would fall under false advertising. Like, I couldn't possibly like, if I went to a restaurant and I told them, hey, man, like, I'm allergic to crab. Is this fake crab or real crab? And they're like, nah, it's totally fake crab. And then I'm like, cool. And I eat it. And he's like, psych.
You die.
Like, I'm gonna
like,
die. And I know that's like an extreme example, but like, yeah, or like, hey, I'm vegan, I'll take the black bean burger. And they're like, okay, here you go. And then they're like, it's so good. It tastes like the real thing. And then it's like actually a real burger. And they just lied to me.
Yeah, it's
and,
like bleeding.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? They're like, oh no, that's like imitation or whatever. It's like, this isn't what I bought though. And
like, that's not what I wanted. I bought this.
That's
for
the
this
thing
reason.
that's a lot of people don't understand is it's like, this isn't what I bought. It's not to say this isn't what I wanted. I have already purchased this thing, and you're changing it after the fact.
That's the other thing, right? We're already going back to fucking Ubisoft being, Ubisoft's fucking prophecy of like, you don't own your games anymore, right? It's like, God, we buy this fucking shit and it really isn't in our control anymore, is it? You just do whatever the fuck you want.
Literally, you have to unplug from the internet and go back to the initial launch release. But the downside is there could be a freaking game-breaking bug in that launch release.
Right.
And all these patch notes are just as complicated as like passing a bill in Congress, where you're like, what's in the patch notes? And they're like, oh, just quality of life changes, blah, blah, blah. We updated all the character models. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
There was a save bug that kind of broke the game and stuff. We also added microtransactions. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think that they shouldn't do that. I think they should have just, if you're going to do it, pick a game that's not super popular so you can see the outrage, because if you go, oh, dang it, we pissed off 100,000 people, like, that's way different than going, oh, dang it, we pissed off 3 million people.
Well, it's like fucking Sony like loves and hates money at the same time. It's like, what do you do with Helldivers 2? Like, you cannot tell me that the fucking higher ups at Sony don't know how much of it like a massive success Helldivers 2 is right now, right? And it's like, what? Yeah. It's like, man, what should we do to get more money? It's like the one guy in the back of the room that no one's listened to is like, what if we like worked with Microsoft and like put it on Xbox too, so we could add like another third of the player base to everything. Then the other guy, the big loud guy up front, fucking Michael over there, he's just like, what if we made them sign for a PSN account, the people on Steam? We can't have them doing what they want. It's like, good job, Michael, you did it. And fucking Larry in the back over there is just like, oh.
Larry from Madagascar, he can't play the game.
Yeah, Larry from Madagascar, he can't play the game anymore.
Well, I didn't really understand the issue because, well, in the beginning I didn't understand, but now it makes more sense. But it's like Microsoft does the same thing, where it's like if you play Master Chief Collection, you have to, or Sea of Thieves, you have to make a Microsoft account in order to play. I think even without crossplay.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Microsoft. You have to do the same thing for Microsoft's games. I'm pretty sure you have to make one for when you're playing it on PlayStation as well for Sea of Thieves.
Are you playing it on? Is that something you're playing on Steam or on their fucking Microsoft store though?
Anywhere, maybe on Steam, the Microsoft store. On PlayStation, you have to make a
Yeah.
Microsoft account.
Well,
So
Ubisoft
it's like,
makes you have their stupid ass Uplay accounts, and then EA was doing EA Origins.
but I didn't know that like a ton of the country or a ton of the parts of the world didn't have access to PSN, which confused me a little bit. I was like, I don't really understand because it's just a general account, but I thought it's just like in order to like do crossplay or something, you have to pay for the PSN subscription.
I don't think you have to
That
pay
would-
for the PSN subscription. It's just having the account, because I think if they went that far, that'd be really fucked up.
Yeah,
that'd be really stupid.
The weird purpose that they're giving is for security measures,
Fuck
so
off.
that they can protect your account. And I'm like, I know that's not what it is. They're just trying to track data. But it's like, what security measures? You guys get hacked like every single year.
You just want my fucking information to sell me shit. That's all you ever want.
Yeah,
We all know what this is.
Yeah, I get it. Like everything is an advertisement. Everything is a billboard for something, and you just want to know, probably what we're saying when we're playing it, so that you can, that's all it really is. But
Man, I really wish I didn't have to fucking make a PSN account to play this.
yeah, they're like, oh, write that down. Charge him more. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, instead of doing this, can you imagine the alternate universe that we missed out on, where it's like, okay, well, hey, Sony, we talked to Microsoft and we're gonna bring fucking Helldivers 2 to Xbox, because I know everyone who has an Xbox that doesn't have access to Steam or a PS5 is probably looking over there being like, "Aw, I really wish I could play that game."
Yeah, because they're probably.
And here's the thing: I understand, like, it's technically like financially viable to keep it to yourself, exclusivity, to force people to pay to get a PlayStation to play it, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's like people almost like shit on Microsoft for putting their games everywhere. It's like, yeah, but I'd rather have a huge player base than I'd rather have everyone be able to play the game. Like, I'm sorry, I just feel like, especially in a game that has microtransactions, I think you're going to make more money in the long run just putting on everything you can possibly put it on than just like sitting back and hoping for the increase in console sales.
Yeah, it's weird to think that they would approach this with your currency isn't welcome here.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I want everyone to play the game.
Yeah, but for Ubisoft, it's like that saying that was like I keep seeing on the internet. There's like the truth scroll. It was like, if buying isn't selling, I mean, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing.
Yeah, for real. Well, that kind of covers that entire topic.
Now that we're good and salty, let's keep bitching about other stuff.
Yeah, this is the salty episode.
Let's make the people actually angry.
Yeah, now everyone will be angry at us, not at Sony.
Let's piss off fan bases. That's pretty much what we're about to do.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do. I just do that by existing. What's the poll, Jordan?
All right, so which game do you think is the most overrated? Was it Elden Ring, Grand Theft Auto 5, Skyrim, Final Fantasy 7, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone? The winner was both Grand Theft Auto 5 and Call of Duty Warzone. What you guys think of that?
Wow, I'm really kind of surprised. I'm really kind of surprised that Scarlet and Violet didn't get it, but that's okay.
I think it's because people know that sucks, though. It's just the people. It's the small
it's not overrated. Everybody's kind of like, I don't think so. Yeah.
Really trying to.
It can't be overrated if everybody agrees.
Yeah, everyone agrees it sucks. It's not overrated.
Yeah, I mean, Warzone is such a weird product because, like, and I've played a lot of battle royales, and I know that they were just like, well, what if we did it? But then they tie it into their stupid shit, and it's like 100 gigs or whatever. It's
no, it's like 500 gigs. Are you crazy?
Yeah, it's too large of a file size to just basically invade my entire hard drive. The combat is. I mean, Call of Duty's a guilty pleasure of mine, but like, I just can't justify playing that battle royale at all. I don't like it. It was. I tried it. I think Edwin? Me and you played. Was it Cold War, the zombies thing?
Yeah.
We played that a lot, and then War's coming out, and then we were like, oh, let's get on Warzone and see what that's about. And it's just kind of like, oh, It's just Call of Duty, but they stapled all the maps together.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll add that we both did enjoy the Halloween event, where it's just like if you die as a soldier, you come back as a very fast zombie, and then it's
To
kind of
be
like
fair,
Halo Invasion.
yeah, I mean that's because the game mode is fun, but like as a battle royale in general, it's just I I don't like it. I just it's not fun to me.
No way.
Yeah.
It's like
Like the thing is I would rather just play team deathmatch. Than playing Warzone.
okay, well, this is the issue that I have with games like that. I was like, I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant. It's more of a generalization of the game type. But like, I like Call of Duty. The problem is that there's like specific customization issues that can potentially ruin your game if you don't widen or balance like the health and damage. Because one of the issues why I don't play Call of Duty very often is because anyone can customize their weapons if they play long enough. But then if there's like a meta, then everyone just plays the exact same shit, and then it's like, oh, this has a 1.5 like kill time. So it's like, if they catch you off guard, you literally have 1.5 seconds to turn around or figure out where you're being shot from before you get on the floor, and then beg for your life. But the reason why Fortnite is much better than Warzone is because you don't have that kind of shit. You have both shields and you have health, and not everyone can customize their weapon unless they go find a workbench. Then you get the good shit. But then there's also like the rarity and stuff.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, but then there's also like the randomization of the legendary weapons and stuff like that can potentially kill in one hit, but that's also included with skill. So it's like that's the issue that I have with those types of games, and why I would much rather play Fortnite over Call of Duty.
Fortnite's balancing is really nice. I kind of say that lightly because when they add the weird shit, like right now the airbending or the avatar going on,
the airbending's gone. The airbending was cool, but God, that was fucking broken.
Yeah, it's like, geez, I cannot. He's too fast. And then, I mean, I was guilty of it because I would just get 3 scrolls of earthbending because I would throw rocks and switch to the next one, keep throwing rocks because that would dump like 80 to 100 fucking damage if you hit them with it, and it just eats buildings. So it's like, oh, this is fun, but I'm glad this isn't around forever.
Yeah, well, it's just like they balanced it with the Icarus wings, because the Icarus wings, if you hit them while they're flying, they fall to the ground. With the airbending, you can hit them as much as you want. It doesn't fucking matter. They'll just keep going. Like that's how you balance.
The wings are so fun
like that. But
those god weapons are so fun.
Instead of veering off into praising Fortnite for some of the things it does, because that game does also things pretty shitty sometimes too. But for me with Warzone, I think it's a disclaimer for people. A lot of stuff we'll be saying is probably going to be subjective. I try to be objective when I can, but I try to clarify when I'm just saying just something that's my personal opinion that I don't personally like, that isn't technically a flaw. But it's just like, and I play a game, I like style. And yes, I've played, I think the last Call of Duty game I really played was Black Ops 2 way back on the 360. So I haven't touched Call of Duty in forever, even though I did give Warzone a chance. I just don't get it. I'm just like, this is so boring. Why would you play this over Apex? Why would you play this over I mean, I can understand why people play it over Fortnite, but like, I've played Apex Legends, and Apex Legends is like that, but like way better, way more fast. The characters are cool. The guns are cool. There's all these different maps and shit. Like, I just don't understand like what about Warzone keeps people coming back. But I can also say the same exact thing about fucking Destiny 2. And I'm just like, you look at that same game and I'm just like, this has like a pretty big player base of players that this is the game that they play, period. Like that's all they play. You know, Warzone that's the game, especially because nothing else can fit on your hard drive.
Yeah.
Well, Warzone also suffers from its like existence. What brought it out is because like battle royale games were getting popular, so they were like, "Quick, do that, write that down," and then we have Warzone, and it's only had one event that was like, I mean, the zombie thing was kind of cool. Like we had fun. We didn't play it every day. We just played it a little bit. But that Godzilla Kong one was the only event that was like, wow, this is kind of zany, guys. But like, what else do they do? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not really a part of it that much, but I haven't been like, it's it's just Call of Duty on a big map. I like Call of Duty's maps for team deathmatch because
I
they're like,
just want small map with team deathmatch. I die, I
yeah,
respawn in
they're
2 seconds.
designed for like that back and forth. Like when I'm running around this giant world, and then they go, "Oh, we increased like the movement speed a little bit, and we have some parachute thingy. Go find armor plates, blah blah blah." And I'm like, no, it's just, it's, I don't know. It's just too meh. There's not enough like cool shit to it. Like if it had destructibility, like how Battlefield, where you could just fucking blow a hole in the wall, like it needs that kind of stuff because it doesn't have anything that's like really pushing it forward as a battle royale. It's just, oh, you just made Call of Duty with a lot more people.
Yeah, it's like, well, here's the thing. They, I mean, as an outsider looking in on Warzone, it's like, obviously I just said what I don't like about it. I like style in a game, which is why I like Apex Legends, why I like Fortnite. But clearly the people who play Warzone are the people who are the opposite, that want like quote unquote more realistic shooter because they want everything just be real guns and stuff like that with just people. But then,
Yeah.
with the Godzilla stuff and the Nicki Minaj and all this other, was Cheech and Chong was the latest one. They're it's like they're trying to be Fortnite, therefore alienating the primary people who play it because they don't want to play Fortnite, they want to play Warzone. But they make all these like
Yeah.
goofy skins and shit.
That stuff is confusing.
I'm just like, guys, like, what the fuck? Like, it's not what your player base is here for. Just make cool
They
cosmetics that
should
don't have to do with like
steer
pop
opposite,
culture.
really. Go
Yeah.
way more towards realism and stop adding all the dumb shit because yeah, like when I saw the Nicki Minaj thing and it was like, oh yes, a character with giant pink hair and a, right around the thing that kills you the fastest, your head. Like, why would I want that? Like, I don't want to play as that character. I stand out like crazy.
Well, it's not only that, it's just fucking the people who are playing it. It's just like, ugh, yeah, all the fucking dudes playing. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's plenty of women that play fucking Warzone. But it's just like, yeah, I want to play as fucking Nicki Minaj. I don't want to be like cool soldier. I want to be fucking Nicki Minaj, fucking run around shooting people in Warzone. I was like, no one fucking wants that shit.
Yeah,
It's fucking
and the other thing
ridiculous.
too is this game or Warzone. uh, What's happening to Warzone is also happening in PUBG, and I think it's been happening a little longer in PUBG, where like PUBG was really popular, and then Fortnite started getting really popular. So they're like, "What if we had like an Easter Bunny outfit or something? Isn't that zany?" And then it's like, "Stop it! Don't do that. That's not why I was playing you."
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that like Fortnite gets away with it because it was already cartoony. They have the fucking like the strength of being stylized.
Yeah,
So
they're the
adding a
best
like seeing
licensing team.
yeah, it's like you don't even flinch when you see fucking Doom guy running around with airbending next to Darth Vader with his AK and Rick Sanchez with his pistol. You don't even fucking flinch. But it's just like, and like all Fortnite had to do to bring in a lot of their popularity, but it fit right into the game because of how their like servers worked. Because so many people like us were like, yeah, I don't want to play Fortnite because I don't like the building. It's like, okay, we'll just do a no building playlist, and then that has a ton of people on it at all times because that's all it took. That was like the one wall stopping me from playing the game, was just the no build. But that
Yeah,
fit into
no,
the
I
game
I
so
hate
perfectly
building.
because it's just a playlist. It doesn't ruin the game because all the people who like the building still have that, the regular battle royale to do. We just play the no build.
So I think from the issues we were talking about with Helldivers, we just covered the fact that a game can, oh, you guys don't like something? Well, here's the thing that you do like, and then we'll also keep the other thing that other people like.
Yeah, it's called a playlist. It's really easy actually. Or just like, just again, it's not super directed to Helldivers because that's like an out of game problem, but it's not like it's
Yeah,
this is the mode without your PSN again. I guess you could do that. It'd be a little awkward, I suppose, but you could do something like that. But I think that was just a shitty business decision just in general. But
yeah,
fucking like Warzone is just such an enigma. I don't have a lot to say about it. I just see stuff about it in the news every now and again, and I'm just like, huh, that's weird, or huh, that's stupid. It's like, and I don't
yeah.
know. I don't feel much.
When I see games like Warzone doing what it's doing, I feel like it's like it doesn't. It's having like an identity crisis where it's just kind of like you're trying to figure out what works
Well, they're trying to get the
and
Fortnite
focusing in
crowd.
on what it is you were doing. Like you should really just whatever Fortnite's doing, it should be the opposite because you're going to have like the people, you're going to have people that don't play Fortnite because they don't want to play Fortnite. So you're like,
Yeah, it's
okay,
like
then we'll give
that's
you
what
this
your fan
experience.
base is the people who don't want to play Fortnite. So why are you trying to make
Yeah.
it more like Fortnite? That doesn't make any sense. And the answer is
I
because
mean,
they really want some of the Fortnite crowd. It's like no one who's playing Fortnite's going to come play your fucking game because you have Godzilla and Nicki Minaj in it. No one gives a shit.
yeah, I mean, like, I know there's people in an executive room like high-fiving each other because they were like, agree that we're going to try to farm some other players.
We did,
But like,
guys.
if you gain you gain 1 million players, you lose 1 million players. You're at the same player base that you had. So it's like you can still gain players by having some other stuff. It's just start taking out or fucking up the thing that people were like, oh, I like this because it didn't have that, and now I'm going to go find something else. You know, and then that might replace with the new players that you're looking for, but your number's never going to change.
I feel like that's like a problem
It's,
with a lot of
you know,
like
that's the
live
weird part.
Well, like a problem with a lot of live service games is just that, right? It's like they get this community and they get this player base, a player base that has the numbers that are completely sustainable. By the way, they just don't. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you're not going to be Fortnite, you're not going to be Roblox, but you have your community, you have your player base. It's nice and medium sized of pretty consistent players. And you can just farm them for microtransactions and shit, because they'll give it to you as long as they like the game. But then I see all these other games constantly shooting themselves in the foot, fucking pissing off all the old fans that have been there since day one, trying to get new fans, and the new fans aren't coming, and they're just losing players because they're making shitty decisions.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, you got a million players giving you $5 each, but they're like, no, we'd rather have 2 million players giving us $1 each. It's like, that's less.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I've seen it left and right, because I mean, it's just like I fucking Ark Survival Ascended, fucking Red Card, Snail Games, all those guys can fucking kiss my ass. I'm just gonna sit here and play Evolved. Fuck your stupid remastered version, charging me $30 for fucking additional content when fucking the game is still broken as shit, and it takes months and months and months to repair this garbage. You can never meet fucking deadlines and shit like that. You piss off all the old player base. You give Nitredo all the rights to the fucking server hosting. Like, you just piss everyone off, and they wonder where all their fucking players go. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's like they're trying to get a bunch of money by acting like Fortnite, but it's like, dude, all the skins that you're like copying off of Fortnite and like style and all that literally does not fit in your game at all. Like, if you buy any of those stylized skin, it's paid to lose, because if you're glowing fucking blue and a brown background, you're obviously gonna stand out. There was literally pictures of the first Godzilla event costume where it's just like, cool, you're all black, but you glow bright ass neon blue, and you leave blue footprints on the ground that burn in blue fire. Why would you play Call of Duty with that in like a really dark area? There's even like night vision like arenas where it's like it's like dead ass midnight, and it's super dark everywhere, and you have to play with night vision goggles that they provide you with. Otherwise, you will not be able to play. And it's like, cool, I'm just going to be the nightlight in this match.
Yeah, it's just fucking...
Yeah, and there's been talk about that in Call of Duty. Like, I've seen videos and other things talking about like loadouts and stuff, because obviously this is the best loadout for like whatever. They specifically are like, this is the best character to get because they have the best camouflage to the map, because they're like, their face is covered, they have dark colors, you can't see them when they're standing in the corner, and it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I want to not be seen.
Yeah, it's literally all the default characters.
It's like, it's not something like fucking, League of Legends, where you can... It's not about fucking not being seen. You can have the most colorful, bombastic, crazy fucking skins you've ever seen in the world, because it's not about fucking stealth. Whereas Battle Royale, you don't want to be seen. Again, works in Fortnite because everything in Fortnite is super colorful. So you playing a colorful skin isn't going to stand out at all.
No, arguably, you could say anybody that's a cel shaded character in Fortnite stands out more than others.
I don't even feel like I never felt like that has either hindered me nor has stopped me from seeing somebody,
Yeah.
That's just my personal thing, though.
Like, what was I don't know what her name is, but the character that has, like, fire emitting from her body. Like, I'll be crouched behind a rock, I'm like, I know they can see this. Because it's like, oh, he must be over there where the fire is. But I suppose hampering on Warzone enough.
Well, I mean, the
The
other
other
one was
one
Grand Theft
was
Auto 5.
Grand
Well,
Theft
here's
Auto
at
5.
least GTA 5. I understand why it's popular. Like, I get it. I understand why people play it. I'm still baffled by how many people play it, is my thing. I guess I just
Well,
didn't realize the online was that addicting to some people. The only thing I can see, at least from my perspective, that I find interesting is that they have a pretty decent RP, role playing scene for certain servers and stuff. But,
I can't. I tried playing online, and you just get smoked constantly if you're in like a random server.
Yep,
Like
that's why I hate it.
it's I don't know. It's really weird, but like I like Grand Theft Auto. I just
I
because
mean,
I
Grand
don't
Theft
usually
Auto 5
linger
is
on
like,
games.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't usually linger on games. When I finish them, I like move on to the next. Like I got like a monster backlog and everything else, but like some games that are designed to be played a lot, and Grand Theft Auto never struck me as like a game that I'm supposed to play online all the time. Like I used to city, when I was younger and like run around, even though I beat the game just to do stuff. But like GTA 5, it's like why you could play something else. There's a lot of cool videos of people doing crazy shit because it's basically just a sandbox game for content, but I don't understand like the appeal, I suppose. Like I haven't been drawn to it. I don't own it. I've never wanted to buy it. Like I would play it if somebody had it, and like I'll watch some content from it, but I've never felt like an urge to play it.
Well, I mean, I'll praise GTA at least for its single player content because I
Yeah.
have bought it. I've bought it on when it first came out on the 360. I bought it on my Xbox One, and I played it. I've beaten the single player story 3 separate times on all 3 iterations of Xbox, and I love it. I mean, the storyline is meh, but I really like the characters like Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, and I like the acting. I like the and driving in the game. Obviously, is super fun. They've made that mechanic very satisfying to do. The heists are always super fun. Um, but this is specifically about online, so I won't harp on that too much. I understand why the mechanics of GTA people like that, but when it comes to online, I played it very briefly because some of my friends were starting to get into it a little bit and I played it with them, and it was fun for a small amount of time when we were just running around, shooting stuff. But then again, I will say it for every game. It's just like it's fun with friends. I'm like every game is fun with friends, and being fun with friends doesn't mean the game's good. I'm sorry, the games
Yeah, because
you
there's
have fun
people
with your
that
friends are
just
shit.
there's like YouTube channels dedicated to generating content specifically from GTA 5, and just like why?
Well, here's the thing, right? It's like I think of it the way I look at it. It's like a wish fulfillment thing almost, because it's hard to compare these two things, but it's like how I like farming games. I like Story of Seasons, or even something like Animal Crossing. Not really a farming game, but like a life sim. The people who like The Sims, it's a form of
Mhm.
wish fulfillment to have like a really nice farm that you get to design, and you just live in that space for a while. Just want to be a simple farmer. You're Animal Crossing. You're in your cute little, plushy world, making your island and stuff. Or, The Sims, where you're building your fucking mansion and killing all your Sims by taking the, staircase away from your swimming pool. Um, there's a lot of wish fulfillment in that game, from, serial killer to regular person. But
Yeah.
the point being is that I feel like I guess a lot of people get that same sense of wish fulfillment from GTA Online because again, you get to make your character, you get money by doing jobs and games and stuff, and you rent an apartment or a house, and you get to buy cars and stuff. You get to pretend to be some high rolling gangster for a while in GTA. So I feel like that's a big thing
Yeah.
of why people play that. It's the same sense of wish fulfillment. Just for a little while, you get to pretend you're living that life.
Well, I'd
Yeah,
agree with you more if like the prices for all their shit weren't like, oh, you want a car,
Oh, just,
you want
yeah.
a virtual fucking car or like
Oh no.
Lamborghini or some shit, or like, oh, you need to pay $100 so you can get a
Yeah,
billion
see, you got it,
virtual
Edwin. You just
dollars.
buy the whale shark card. That's easy.
yeah, microtransaction the game,
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Because like literally anytime I see an update, it's like, oh look, more shit to buy with real money for a
I
game
mean,
that you've already done with.
I can see the wish fulfillment thing that you're talking about because like I know there's a pretty strong community for Arma because it's like that role playing military like
Oh yeah,
nonsense
I
and
mean,
like
hell, I'm gonna pick on my friends again. Fucking they I'm not sure if he still does it, but I know for a time he was playing hi Tim. You were playing he was playing Arma 2 modded, so everyone was like a clone trooper. It was like a Star Wars thing. And it was all like
yeah.
serious RP with ranks and stuff. They had to show up for show up in their Discord for
Yeah,
squad meetups
it's
and
crazy.
missions and shit. So like there were super hardcore people dedicated to that shit. And then again, it's a wish fulfillment. It's what video games do best. You get to live that life for a little while, turn your brain off, and immerse yourself doing that.
Yeah, but I
That
just
being
yeah,
said,
I get
Hmm.
I understand it, but then you log into GTA Online and you get fucking smoked by a tank that was sitting right there, and you can't actually do
I
anything.
just don't
Or the most
understand. Yeah, it's like
overused
how does
vehicle.
anybody like turn it on and have fun? Like I guess if like you're saying like oh you're playing with your friends on like a private server where you're dicking around doing missions and stuff and whatever. It was like yeah I get that, but it's like I can't just turn the game on as like by myself and get online and have a great time. Like I usually just fuck this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like another one. Basically, a lot of people I don't know like I don't hear people give it as much shit as I think it deserves to get because people just be beating on Skyrim all the time. Like, oh, stop re-releasing it, blah blah blah. It's like, bro, GTA 5 has been out so long and no one's saying anything.
I'll defend that. At least they weren't really they re-released it one time with additions to it for new gen. But the thing is that like I said, I can replay GTA a bunch because I feel like the sandbox in GTA is deeper than Skyrim because Skyrim, while you can do a lot of stuff, Skyrim's kept afloat by mods because when you look at Skyrim as a whole, and maybe one day I'll have an entire segment dedicated so I can dunk on Skyrim. Maybe I'll do it today.
And I'll
But
defend it.
I think Skyrim is completely wholly shallow, especially for like compared to past Elder Scrolls games. Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle is basically my consensus on Skyrim, whereas GTA I feel has like a lot more content and a lot more things to just do in it, like a lot more satisfying to play than Skyrim. And I'm talking about vanilla Skyrim. Of course, you can fix anything in Skyrim with mods. So I mean, the mods completely ruin the argument, but they're not part of the argument because that's not part of the main game. That's community created content. And again, wouldn't
Yeah,
even lie. I've played my fair share of Skyrim. I have hundreds of hours in it, probably across multiple consoles. I think it's not a very great game. I primarily play it only with mods now because vanilla Skyrim's fucking shit.
yeah. Um. So how do we want to approach this segment here? Do we want to just do like a round robin thing where we talk about like a franchise or something that like comes to mind?
Uh, Probably, yeah. Kind of just like our usual stick. Everyone will pick something they want to bitch about, and everyone can jump in on their opinions or defend it if everyone else here has an opposing opinion on it. So,
All right. Who
so
wants to
you
go
go.
first?
Yeah,
Me?
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you go, Corey. Yeah, you.
All right. So for me, a franchise that's like really popular that I just don't understand, and I've only ever bought one of them, is the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Oh, thank
It's
God.
it's really cool. I guess like I like the idea of the assassins. I always thought like the art and everything and the trailers are super awesome. Like I love the like visual aspect, and I could see how people can really get into the game. But like I've played like the betas for them when they were coming out, and I just was like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like I liked Tenchu a lot on PS2, PS1. I know the controls are probably dog shit compared to this, but Tenchu is like the original stealth assassin type game. I mean, I liked Metal Gear Solid, and that's a stealth game. And then this is like when you play Assassin's Creed, I think it has a similar issue that Dead Rising has, because Dead Rising released the demo on 360, and I never bought the game because I would just play the demo if I felt like I wanted to play Dead Rising. And I think so like you can be an assassin for an hour and that's the same thing over and over and over again. And I know they try to tie in some like interesting lore and how the game you're in the future, but you're using your memory to go to the past, and it's cool. But
Don't even get me
like I just
started on
couldn't
that
get into
fucking
it.
mind fuck of a story.
Yeah, no, and this is the funny part is like so they did a Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and like the newer Assassin's Creeds are cool because they're like more open adventure, more I guess they're like trying to
The
appeal
assassin
more to
part of
like
the
The
title
Witcher.
is optional now.
Yeah, they're appealing more to like The Witcher style player base, but like I wanted to play Valhalla because it's like, oh, a Viking game. Like I like Viking stuff, and so I was like, I want to play a Viking game. Like it's to me that you don't see a lot of Viking games in general, but I'm sure there's plenty on PC, but like a console experience. And I got the game, and I was really enjoying it. Every part that was Assassin's Creed related, though, and it has to remind you that you're playing an Assassin's Creed, I'm like, okay, can I skip this part? Because it would just be like, oh, there's this digital glitch in like the whatever. You so turn into your character and climb this thing and find this thing, and now you're in modern day. Walk around and talk to your friends and solve this puzzle, and then go back to the Viking part. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of the stuff that's Assassin's Creed related. They could have just
Right.
called the game Valhalla, took all the Assassin's Creed out, and left the story, and it would have been perfect as like a Viking experience. But every time, like I would just be getting into it, it would hit me with the like, "Hey, remember the thing that happened in all these other games that were tying together this long ass story?" And you're like, "No, I don't remember those." And I know you're about to tell me because you're also assuming that this is the first Assassin's Creed that a player has played. So here comes a bunch of dumbass exposition about some thing that I'm never going to understand. And it's like the reason why the newer ones are fun is because they're more like the combat is better. Because the older Assassin's Creeds, you're supposed to stealth assassin them. If you jump down and try to fight three guys at once, they're going to kill you because they're like, well, you're a ninja or you're an assassin. You shouldn't have to fight them like that. You should be sneaking up on them. But it's like, I should be able to approach every combat situation in a way that I want to, but you're forcing me to be a ninja by like jumping on their shoulders and doing the weird blade hand thing and then doing that to the next guy, then doing that to the next guy. But that's only cool if I pull it off that one sweet time where it's like, oh, I can't believe I got that dude, and then I had to fight all the other guys. Because I don't know, it's kind of like the original Batman game. Like me and Jordan sat in Best Buy for like 2 hours just playing the demo, and it was like this is really fun, but like I didn't buy it because it's like oh, the combat's so cool, but I don't need to play that because the game is just 8 hours of that same combat. So like I feel like that's when I see every Assassin's Creed, especially since all the characters look exactly the same until they really started changing it. Like in the newer ones, I was like I don't know what's going on. I just couldn't get into the series at all. And then they even made like an Assassin's Creed one where I think it takes place in America, where you play as like this, I think is like a Native American dude. But they got rid of like, because it's like the colonial time, so there's no cool buildings to climb. So it's like the whole point of your game was to climb buildings and do stuff. But now it's like climbing trees,
trees everywhere. Yeah,
it's not fun. And then like I think the one Assassin's Creed that a lot of people like is Black Flag.
They don't even like it for the assassins part, just because
they just like the pirate part.
Yeah,
yeah. And so like I feel like that whole franchise has like this weird problem with like continuing this long convoluted story, because I know Valhalla has this. It was supposed to be this huge reveal, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody that likes the franchise, but there was this whole moment that didn't land because I don't care. And it was supposed to be this huge reveal of some kind, and it's like, oh, all of this has led to this moment. And I'm like, 10 years of games, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, fucking, first of all, you already touched on it. Ninjas, assassins. Where the fuck is my fucking Assassin's Creed set in Japan? How easy would that be? You actually can be a ninja. It's not like, and don't get me wrong, I kind of liked it how they were touching on other like cultures and shit, because the only Assassin's Creed I've touched outside of the first one was Origins, and that's because I like, next to Japan, I love Egyptian shit a lot, and that was all about
that
Egypt.
one's super cool.
But it's just like it's like I don't even want to play it for the fucking the assassin part. I just want to
You're
fucking
buying
stick
it for
around in the
Egypt.
adventure game. Yeah, I was saying I'm playing it for Egypt. It's like, first of all, if you really wanted to be, go back to your roots, be an assassin, where's my fucking Assassin's Creed Japan, Assassin's Creed Warring States? Give me some ninja shit. It's like it's so easy. They had They had one. They had like a one in China, not
It
like
was
a
Assassin's
mainline
Creed
game. But,
Jade
yeah.
something or whatever.
I don't. Yeah, it was Assassin's Creed, whatever the fuck. But it's just like, it's not even Assassin's Creed. But like, I agree with what you said. It's like, just throw Assassin's Creed out, just call it Valhalla, and just do that. It's like,
They're
throw
really
everything
good
that has
at
to do with
making
Assassin's
these.
Creed out of here.
Yeah, like that team is really good at making these like. They should just call it like a historical franchise where they're just taking moments in time and doing like a hero, and it doesn't have to be like historically accurate to like this is a
No,
real
of course
person who
not.
did this thing, but like that Egypt game, take all the Assassin's Creed part out and just keep everything else, and that game would be like that game's really cool. The same thing with the whatever the Roman one was or the Greek
It wasn't
one.
Roman, it was Greek, and it was Odyssey. And that's the same
Yeah,
thing. The guy on the
Odyssey.
cover is like just a warrior. I'm like, what the fuck? What part about that guy screams assassin? And I think even one
Yeah,
time my
well,
fucking friend was saying, like, don't quote me on this because I haven't played it. My friend was just telling me about it. But it was like, your stealth kill is like you throw a knife, but then that's like your one knife you have. So after you throw the knife and stab the dude, you like run up and grab the knife and like throw it to somebody else. It's like not even stealth. I'm like, what the fuck is this stupid bullshit?
yeah, it's crazy though because it's like I think it's about like the Spear of Leonidas or something like that, but I'm like, this is really cool. And the Valhalla one is really cool. Just take all the Assassin's Creed shit out and just do period piece games because you're really good at it. And
Yeah.
and then you don't have to try to come up with some weird convoluted way to link them all together
take
because
the
that's the
stupid
part I
fucking
don't care.
Yeah, the fucking stupid whatever the fuck machine. I don't even know what
The
it's called because I
Animus.
don't give a fuck. Yeah, the Animus. Take all that
Yeah,
shit out.
this
Take all the stealth play out.
climb
Just
into
make
our magical tanning bed and then it'll send you to the past because you're related to somebody, I think.
magical tanning
You get a
bed.
free tan
Yeah,
when
what
you're
is,
doing it.
yeah, what do you call? Yeah, he's like, but we can only do this so long because we don't want to give you skin cancer, so you can only go back in the past for at least 30 minutes.
Have you
And then you
seen
gotta
Final
come back.
Des- Have you seen Final
you can be-
Destination? That happened to one of
Yeah.
the interns. We don't want that to happen to you.
Yeah. If you're an assassin 10 days in a row, then you get a free assassin on 11th like with your punch card.
Based on this
Yeah.
conversation, I'm going to assume none of you have seen gameplay of Assassin's Creed Mirage because I swear to
Hell
God,
no.
I saw one cutscene of it and I
Wait,
thought it was a new
it's the
Final
new one?
Fantasy game, Mirage.
What?
This
I-
is a new.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
because
newest
that's
one.
the one that's the one that's the origin for Bossum, I think, which is a guy who teaches. Basically, he's the plant for Valhalla, where he's like, "Hi, I'm the random Assassin's Creed guy that's living in your village, and I'm a traveler from the Middle East. I'm going to teach you the ways of the assassin." And then he gives the main character like the assassin's blade, and he's like, "You got to cut your finger off so you can wear it like this." And he's like, "That's stupid." And he turns it around, and he's like, "What if it just comes out from over the top of my hand?" And they're like, "Oh." And then,
Oh, I never thought of it.
so
like
you don't
that
have to
before.
cut your finger off? I mean, it'd be really cool if you did, so that our entire culture doesn't seem so stupid.
It's just like I always wanted to look at it and be like, wow, this seems like a lot less effective than my axes.
Yeah. So you mean I have to stab them with this little like letter opener and not my giant ass axe I have on my back? Okay. I mean, I'm
You know
still going to
what's-
use the axe though.
Yeah.
But
You
the
don't get
weapons and
you don't
armor.
get the stealth bonus.
So that's the thing I liked about Valhalla, right? It's like there's like tiered armor, like green, blue, legendary nonsense. You get like gear, weapons, and it's like all this stuff I love about games like The Witcher and like other like open world RPGs. But then they're
There's
like,
a loot goblin.
yeah, I'm a loot goblin, but like they're like, wait, hold on, all that momentum you were getting for this really cool point, I'm gonna ruin it real quick with
Standing back.
a 2-hour section. And you're like,
Time's up. Got to pay another $50 for another hour.
Yeah.
yeah. Ding.
Insert
Like,
coin
oh,
to continue.
yeah, and the other part that really sucks about I mean, like, it was a cool concept for Xbox 360 when they were like, experimenting with all these games. Like the concept for the Animus is neat, but then it just probably didn't anticipate the nerd culture direction that isekais were going to take. But now it just means Assassin's Creed is just a giant isekai.
I mean, it's almost like I could imagine something like the Animus being used really well in some kind of like murder mystery story. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know, something along those lines. It
yeah.
was kind of neat in the first Assassin's Creed, but it's just like I said, the first Assassin's Creed was the only one like I actually beat that one, and even then I came out the end of it going like I have no idea what just happened. I just
Well,
killed a
the
bunch of
character
people because I
is
told you
so
to.
iconic. Everybody knows like Ezio, and like he was so cool looking, and that like the character design is like on point.
Yeah,
But like I just like once I started to like learn about it because my friends are like, "Oh man, the new one's coming out." And you can almost say this about like other things, but at least, like Final Fantasy, for example, like they got there's 16 of them, but like they at least change things a lot in like the sense of like the combat systems and the level up systems and stuff kind of change. So like not all of them are the same game. But like Assassin's Creed, they're like, "Oh, the next one." And it's like, "Oh, it's just the same game. You climb
well, it's just
stuff
like I
and
don't even think like having the same game is like bad because again, it's just like, hello, me. My name's Udon. I play Pokemon. I like the same game over and over again.
yeah,
But it's like you can make it good. It's like yes, Pokemon aside from the newer ones, just like all right, there's 8 badges. Go get them. How you go about that is different with the different Pokemon and stuff, surely, but it's essentially the same game with the same mechanics. And then they start changing shit in Scarlet and Violet, and it turns out to be a big old pile of poopy. And I'm just like, I don't even think that like doing the same thing over and over again is even necessarily a bad thing because I was just experiencing it with fucking. I was thinking about that with Paper Mario because I was playing, the 64 version, and I know Thousand Year Door a lot, and I'm like, wow, it's like the same fucking game, but that's like a good thing because it means they're both good because they both have the same design. But if they just did
um,
something slightly different, just differences in setting and what the quest is and how you go about it while the mechanics stay the same is all I care about. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess so. My moral of the rant is that Assassin's Creed is overrated to me. I understand like a lot of people are in fan base and they love that shit, but I just don't get it. But I like Valhalla, but that's because I like Vikings.
yeah.
Vikings.
It's like it's like you're almost there. You almost have my money. Just make me my Japanese one, fucking Ubisoft, and then you might be able to get some money out of me, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, look at Ubisoft actually like pulling one out, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you got something here," and he's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to."
Listen,
It's
I
like,
know you
okay,
guys are in like massive debt right now because you shit the bed with fucking Skull and Bones, but I believe in you.
figure it out. Just get your team together and have them start making those historical adventure games, and you'll clean up. Don't tie them together. I do not give a shit if some guy is on an India adventure and he's like, "Oh yes, I met the guy that's on this like South American adventure." I'm like, "No, don't. They can't know each other. Just let it be what it is."
And it's like, hey, it's like we're gonna reboot Sea of Thieves. It's like, oh, the Adventures of Columbus.
Yeah.
Unironically, that'd be kind of cool if I could be just like a giant asshole. It's like, all right, time to enslave the native population.
Yeah. This game is questionable, but at the same time, it's very interesting that we could see it all firsthand. And
Just like trying to be real. It's like, all right, let's be real. I just like being the villain, okay? Just let me have this.
It's like, I am the villain. I made Florida.
I've
hello,
created
everybody. Allow me to introduce syphilis.
All right. Do you have another one you want to rant about, or is that your primary one?
Um, let's see. I mean,
Or you make a Christopher Columbus game. I have that in my head now.
yeah. So Assassin's Creed. I don't know. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I'm sure that if like we continue around the thing, I can probably go into it. I mean, yeah, I'll have to think a little bit before I pick one. I know that it would like drive a fan base insane. I guess if we're talking about like personal overrated,
yeah, you can be personal. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
objective.
I League of Legends to me is I just
oh no,
I'm not
dude. Even the people who play League of Legends will look at you and say, "Nah, this is shit."
Yeah, he's like, I clocked in 10,000 hours, but yeah, I hate it.
Yeah,
thumbs down.
I like the characters. I like the characters a lot. That's pretty much it, though. I mean, I tried playing it. I really did. Cause like when I got to AI and everybody was playing legal, I've never heard of it until I think our buddy Rick, he was playing, Heroes of the Storm or something like that.
That
I
was the
tried that
Blizzard
one.
adjacent one. I actually really liked that, but
Um,
then Blizzard just let it die.
yeah, it was, no, what was the other one? There was Heroes of the Storm, and then there was another one.
Dota?
That wasn't.
Overwatch.
Dota.
Yeah, Dota. He played Dota a lot. And like I didn't really play it. He would be late all the time because he's like, sorry, I was playing Dota, and he'd be like 3 hours late.
Yeah,
But
playing one game of Dota.
when I got to AI, I was like, dang, there's a lot of people talking about this League of Legends game. And then my friend's like, oh, it's free. Like, it's so cool. Like I play it all the time. And then I like downloaded it, booted it up, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was just, yeah, you just click the mouse a lot. And if you pick the wrong gear, everyone hates you. And it's like, oh, I don't know if I get like. There's 100 champions. Which one do I play as? He's like, that's the thing. You have to play as the one everyone wants you to play as, or everyone hates you. And it's like, okay. Can I learn a character like on your own time? Don't do that shit. Even if you're not playing ranked, it's like I don't understand. Like I like the concept of hero based like games, but League is just so hard to get into because I feel like I'm not doing anything except for clicking the mouse. I don't even really like playing the original Diablo games. Like Diablo 3 was fun because I felt like I was actually playing it rather than clicking on something and waiting for my character to do some shit. I think that's why I didn't really get into WoW as much, but even Final Fantasy and other MMOs where it's like fight that guy and then you just wait and see if you won. But like League is it's so damn popular and I just don't understand why. It's free and maybe that's it. And there's a lot of waifus. Maybe that's it. But the gameplay to me is just so shitty.
Well,
I would much rather play Smite over that.
Well, the only game that I've ever actually played from Blizzard is Overwatch. But like the only reason that I did play Overwatch is because it wasn't an RTS and it did have the thing that I liked about most of those RTSs is the character design and how creative each of them were and how diverse it was. But like in diversity, that like not like every character looked completely different and they all had like
there's so many cool
abilities. Yeah, but it's like the reason that I would never play an RTS is because it's an RTS. I don't really like those, but the reason that I stopped playing Overwatch, despite how much I actually like it, is because like the community. Whereas like you can like something, but the second you get involved with the community, it's just like I don't know if I want to like this anymore. But that's up to interpretation of how much you will avoid it, confrontation from other people just to enjoy something you love. But considering that Overwatch is like a team-based thing, you have to deal with those other people, and they do the exact same shit that Udon was talking about, where it's just like, if you don't pick that character that everyone wants you to, then you're going to get shit on all match for it. And it's like, why the fuck would I be playing right now then?
The thing is that Overwatch suffers from that problem more than League. And here's the thing. Let me preface this by saying this. I am not defending League of Legends, okay, when I say this. I am simply going to give my perspective as probably the only one here who has probably put in over 200, 300 hours in the League. Because I was one of those people at college when Corey was there that I would always talk about League of Legends because I was in the middle of my League of Legends phase.
It's just a phase, Mom.
It was a phase. It was like, well, actually, it was more like a phase, like a fucking. That was the phase of my life when I did meth. No, it's like I got to break the addiction, because it kind of is that. I had played it for a while. I played let's start at the beginning. When I first played League, I was directly with Corey right there. I'm like, I don't fucking understand what's happening. I have never played a game like this. I don't understand what this top-down shit is. I don't understand how my moves work. Fuck this game. I'm going back to play WoW. And then I had run out of like WoW subscription time, and I didn't have any money to fucking play anymore. And like a couple of my other friends were playing League, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this another shot. And just that time, this happens to me weirdly a lot with a lot of games, even Fate. is a victim of this. I'll try something first time and not get it or not like it, put it down, try it again the second time, and just suddenly that second time everything starts making sense to me and I start getting it. And that's what happened with League, and why I was laughing so much when Corey was explaining his experience with the game, and that's why he quit, was like, yes, I have experienced everything he just said, and that's how I learned to play the game, is from people screaming at me and telling me I'm a fucking retard. I'm like, oh, those aren't the boots I should buy. I should buy this. Oh, this character is supposed to build AP instead of AD. Okay, I got it now. Because I never took that shit personally, but I was on the receiving end of a lot of abuse in that game when I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I think it does have a lot of to do with, it's like what Edwin said. It's like the characters are so unique and interesting that you just like playing as them. And for the longest time, outside of, like about 2 years ago now, League was the only thing Riot has ever done with those characters in it before they started making all these other like little games on the side, or even made the Arcane show on Netflix where you could even experience and be in the world of League of Legends with the characters. And I was suckered into it because of that, because I like hero based anything. I liked Overwatch. I liked is the primary fucking word there. And just being those characters is super fun, and it feels even better when you win with them. But again, it suffered from all the multiplayer tisms of just like, yeah, if you want to win, you have to be meta. It's like you can't just play whatever you want, even though you could win if you struggle bust hard enough and your teammate or your enemies were dumb enough. But it's like it is kind of an addiction because you just keep playing it. It's free, and kind of how WoW had this thing where early on in WoW it could run on toasters. League really isn't that like demanding on most computers, so a lot of people can play it pretty efficiently. It's everywhere. You can play it on Mac and PC. It's not just on like, you don't have to have a high running gaming PC to fucking run it. Because I played on a laptop for the longest time. It's just available. It is free. The skin. I feel like the people who make that, probably League of Legends is like the best skins team I've seen in like a live service game, because their skins are so fucking good. They go like all the way with like different sound effects and voice lines and fucking animation particles and shit like that, for depending on how much you pay, of course. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to defend it. I would never tell anyone to play League, but like what Corey says, what made him stop is what made me understand the game and kind of get into it. But it's just that multiplayer mentality of just like, you don't want to. It's just people who want to play against other people to prove they're better than them, right? Because that's a big thing about League, is a lot of MLG sort of thing, competitive nature.
Very competitive, like
yeah.
Game
and it is
space.
skill based, because there's a lot of quick thinking that goes into that game. Like it's like, oh, it's just clicking, or like, yeah, but all those clicks kind of mean something. Like, you really do have to kind of be good at that game. There's a whole reason why it's probably the most popular, esport, I think, next to maybe Counter-Strike or whatever. But huh?
It just gave me like an idea. You know how like there's like the true story movie about Gran Turismo, where it's just like, oh, these racing gamers are like really good. What if we like actually hired one to drive a real race car? So it's just like, you take one of those RTS players of like League of Legends, or like, cool, go command the army. You're the number one in the region.
Edwin.
You know how to deal with like strategy based shit.
Edwin.
So go and like command these soldiers everywhere.
Isn't that
Edwin.
just Ender's Game?
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Overwatch. You know what D.Va's backstory is, right? She played StarCraft, and because she was such a fucking gamer, she was hired by the Korean military to pilot a mech suit. That's literally her backstory.
I forgot about that. I saw that.
Have a mech suit if I was good at.
Well, here's the thing. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that the backstory doesn't even fucking make sense, because in the game, in universe of Overwatch, D.Va, I believe, maybe they changed it because it's been a while since I touched anything Overwatch related. But last time I checked, D.Va was like an MLG player of fucking StarCraft, like an RTS game, to pilot a fucking mech. It's like, you could have at least made it a first-person shooter to make that, like, there's like a through line there. But you're telling me, oh yeah, you're really good at Age of Empires. How about you fire this 50 caliber sniper rifle?
Well, I didn't
checking their notes for what game types they have.
Well, I don't know anything about the lore of Overwatch. I just look at the cinematics, and like the cinematic starts with her. Like, it was like, oh, I'm an e-girl, and then I also like go like pilot a mech for the military. It's like that was pretty much it. It didn't say like how she started. It's like this is just what my life
that was
is.
it. She's super MLG competitive esports gamer and fucking so therefore you could pilot a mech in the military.
Well, I thought that was just like her personality. I don't know. That was like, oh, that's how my life started.
No, that is that's it.
Like,
that's it.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. I'm playing video games, not
I'm wondering
military.
too. Even I don't understand how I got here. All right. Well, how about you, Ed? What game do you think is overrated?
It's a game that I've probably put more than 1,000 hours in to my own disdain. Fucking Destiny in general.
Ew. Yes.
I was going to talk about like Witcher or something. It was like I don't feel like that's fair because like I played Witcher 2 for like maybe 2 hours and I hated it. But it's like Witcher 3 is like the more popular one. It's like I've never even touched Witcher 3 because of Witcher 2 and my experience with it. So I was like, I'm just gonna skip that one. Just go to Destiny 2 that I actually played. That shit is overrated, and it's like pretty much has a storyline the same as Kingdom Hearts, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But like that game is like the same issue that I have with Overwatch, where it's just like way more community based, but it's just like things. It's like the reason I liked it and the reason why I came back to it like twice after giving up on it is just because of how unique the weapons are. But it's like it's also like the downfall to me as well. It's like yes, the weapons are very unique, especially like the exotic. They have like really cool abilities to them, but it's just like the way to get some of them is like oh, you need to spend like 2 weeks doing shit, and then like you can't even do it like any faster because like oh no, you have to do it in 2 weeks because we literally have nothing else for you to do for if you do it in 1 day. They're like, all right, well, if you do it in a day, you have like 13 days of nothing because everyone goes through all their work way too quickly, which is why now it's like each season is like time gated to like one quest a week, which is really stupid, but that's the way they designed their game. But
well, because it's an MMO light experience, so it's just like we need to keep you here as long as possible. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Destiny because I can definitely shit all over that game. Because while I haven't put thousands of hours into it, I've played it a decent amount, at least according to my PlayStation account. And while I think the gunplay is good, like shooting stuff does feel good. Again, my problem because I value a lot of stuff in like world building, story, characters. All of that's bunk. Story shit. The characters are all shit. Nothing fucking makes sense anymore. The fucking like you want to talk about fucking Navi being annoying? I don't even agree. Even after playing Ocarina of Time, I don't think Navi's even annoying. I think she's helpful. Fucking stupid little ghost, stupid motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. God, I hate that thing.
yeah, he's
telling
like
me
very
everything
unhelpful.
to do. Yeah, well, it's just like, and not only that, it's like when it comes to the main gameplay, like I can't believe after all this time they haven't added a new class. It's always in like the warlock, the warlock, the ranger, or the guardian, hunter, and the
Titan, hunter, warlock.
Yeah, it's just like A, can't believe you guys haven't added a new class after all this time. B, all your powers are really fucking boring. Like there's barely anything that differentiates those classes outside of like your weird super move, and I don't even think the super moves are even all that fun. Like I played each class pretty substantially, and I like aside from how they jump, I barely even remembered I had switched classes because it's like everyone has like a slightly different grenade, everyone has a slightly different melee. It's like wow, these are really lame because like I can go from like playing a warrior on WoW to playing a paladin, and yes, they're both armor wielding sword people or whatever, you know, heavy armored warriors. They play completely differently. Like whereas this game, it's just like I'm doing the same shit no matter what class I'm playing, so it makes it pointless. I think all the armor is really dull. Even all their like events and shit is really dull, and I got turned off by the whole MMO aspect too, because Destiny, again, like we were talking about with like Warzone and GTA, it's like I feel like everyone who I've talked to that's like played Destiny and is still playing Destiny, it's like that's the game they play. They don't play anything else. It's just Destiny because it consumes all their time. Like does Travis still play Destiny, Corey?
Yeah, he does. I've seen him like so it's like, oh, notification, he's playing Destiny 2.
Yeah, so it's just like, and he's been doing that for years.
Yeah,
like, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just like it's like the reason that I don't play MMOs like besides like Wizard 101, which I don't even play anymore. Like it's weird because there's like I noticed after a while, there's like Destiny 2, like it's not as spammy as like World of Warcraft or anything like that, but it's still like a similar feel where you're just spamming the exact same shit over and over again. But like you can customize your character to like just straight up abuse some abilities, but it's just like okay, so that's literally your entire mechanic. So it's like if that one ability is not working, or if it doesn't work for like a weekly playlist or something, then it's just completely dead and you can't use it for a whole week, even though it's just like, oh, that's the best thing you got. So now you gotta like spend like a whole month collecting all this shit and grinding just to get like a whole new set to do something else, and then you can still be locked out of it, or it's just completely useless in some events because they restrict like, oh, that type of ability you can't use here, or it's just like it doesn't work for this type of thing. But it's just really annoying, and it's like for like some raids and things, like people always get bitchy. It's like, oh no, we need 3 warlocks or something because like we need the healing and all that. But it's just like like most of the player base is warlock, and then so it's just like, is it, how do you not already have that? And then it's like, well, I don't have like time to like make a whole new character from start to finish because it's not like cross progression really. Whereas like if you start a new character, you have to maintain each one individually. It's not cross progressive. So it's like if like you're level 100 for one, you have to start at level 1 or whatever like the minimum is for the season, which is just really annoying. So if you spent like I don't know 3 months on one character, you have to spend pretty much the same amount for the other, unless you like cheese it. But like that only applies for level based cheesing, not like story progression, where it's just like even though like the rewards are the same and you already have it, you can just trade it between characters. You still have to do that story quest because there's no reason. Because like, you can't skip the whole story unless you like pay $20. So it's like cool. I have to pay $20 to save myself some time from doing the same shit over again. But that's only story based.
It's like I said, it's an MMO light, but it's almost like they took all the bad parts of an MMO to like all the fucking grinding and the waiting shit that no one likes about MMOs. Because like even World of Warcraft like has made like in the MMO community, it's called like alt friendly, so your alternate characters have an easier time doing shit. Once you do a lot of stuff in WoW, like when you make another character, when you go through it, you can skip a bunch of bullshit, so you only like make the important decisions, and then you can like go continue with the game. You don't have to like redo everything. So even WoW has like a system to where you can bypass all of that.
Yeah, like even Borderlands had like something like that. Like if you joined your friend and they were like ahead of you, if you get to that same point in your own game, it asks you, it's like, hey, you already did this with a friend. Do you want to skip it? And then you have the option to skip all the things that you did with your friend. It's like, oh, that's a neat option. But it's just like Destiny. It's just like, cool, you did the story. Now, literally, the rest of the game is just grinding and whatever the hell they have for the new season, which is more or less just more grinding. And then the raids are just like, hey, do you not have a dedicated friend group that plays countless hours of our game? Well, congratulations. Do you want to play this raid for 4 hours and not get shit? It's just really annoying because
MMOs.
Well, I mean, they're like the drop rate for like Destiny 2 is like probably equally as randomized as like Wizard 101, where it's like they straight up said in Wizard 101, and it's like there's literally no percentage of anything you drop. It's 100% randomized. Like everything is a 1% or 100%, but you only have like a limited amount, and it feels somewhat similar to what Destiny does, because it's just like the last thing that I did in Destiny 2 was I was trying to do the raid for, I forgot what it was, the disciple raid, whatever the hell that was, to get like the exotic, which was cool. Do you know how many times the game has recorded that I've done that raid to get that one gun?
How many times?
50. I had to do that raid 50 times to get that one fucking gun. And then there's people that have done it more than me or less than to get the same thing. So it's just like there's no there's no limit to this thing. It was like, we don't care how much you want your shit. It was like, as long as you're playing the game, you're gonna play the game or give up on it. Like, we're not gonna help you. We're not gonna change the drop rates. We're not gonna do anything. It's like, if you play our game and then you grind the same thing over and over again, it was like, that's up to you. It was like, if you don't want to do it, just don't play the fucking game, because we're not gonna change it. So it's like, if you spend time on our game, it's like, that was your choice. You paid money. Fucking live with it.
Yeah, that's an MMO for you. You have to fucking grind those raids to get those fucking items because the shitty ass drop chance. I mean, people are still grinding old WoW raids to get fucking mounts and shit because it has a 1% drop chance. But that's an MMO for you. I mean, fuck. I didn't even like I said. I said the shooting was good in Destiny 2. When you talk about the fucking raids, there ain't nothing I hate more than of FPS. This is where I feel like the FPS like MMO Lite like really falls apart, because it's just like, man, I love shooting a boss for like 15 minutes, just sitting there with my gun firing and 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 firing. Nothing's fucking changing. Just taking 8 million bullets to fucking kill. And it's the same reason why I'm not going to go on a huge rant about it, but fuck The Division. It has the same problem. At least Destiny has like the thing to hide behind where it's like, oh, it's a giant alien man. It's like, whatever. I guess you can take 8 bajillion bullets to his asshole and still live. But it's like, in fucking Division, it's like, hey, I'm Ted. I got a baseball cap, and you're going to have to shoot me 8,000 times for me to die. It's like, I'm just like, cool.
But that's like a raid takes, like, depending on who you're playing with. There's like, if it's like a dedicated friend group, maybe like an hour or two. But if you're playing with a bunch of randoms, it was like, oh no, I gotta go to eat lunch. Or it's like, I'm done for the night, and you got to spend like 30 minutes trying to find someone new to replace them.
That's just
it's gonna take like 4 to 6 hours trying to finish it. And it was like, cool. It was like 4 to 6 hours to finish something because you don't have a dedicated friend group. It was like, yeah, you got to play this thing 50 times. So I was like, imagine how much time. Imagine those thousands of hours that I've spent on trying to do some of those things like that.
Well, that's why people have guilds in WoW, because it's like, all right, boys, Saturday's raid night. We're gonna go run Molten Core again. Get ready for the next 8 or 12 hours. Get your fucking Monster Energy drinks.
But it's like that's like the one thing that I do praise Call of Duty for doing, where it's like there's like gun progression, but like they gave you the option depending on what you like to do. Where it's like, if you want, you can obviously progress faster if you do a PvP. Is like obviously like the player versus player, like regular stuff, or you have the option of doing like a quest line or like just objective based things in zombie mode, where it's PvE specifically. So it's just really useful to have things like that. It's like, oh, you can still get the same thing, but in different game modes. Destiny does not have anything like that, where it's just like, it's like if it was like a whole quest line could be for this one gun, and then like each quest line is like, oh, it's like 10 quests. So it's like, cool. The first three are like PvP, or like not like PvE related. It's like, oh, just kill 50 of this enemy, collect 100 of these things. Like, oh, it doesn't take that much time. And then you get to that one point, and it's just like, cool. Now you got to kill 25 people in PvP. It was like, you love PvP, don't you? You play our game. It was like, no, I don't. It was like, I have the least amount of time in PvP. I was like, well, too bad for you. Guess you're not getting this gun because you're not playing PvP. I was like, I don't want to play PvP. Let me do something else.
PvP. Play PvP. No one plays PvP, so we have to force everyone to play PvP.
Yeah, seriously, it's just like I if I don't want to do it, it's like don't make me do it. It was like, I want to play your game, but it's like, don't make me play the parts that I don't want to play. I was like, well, we're Destiny. We don't do shit like that. So I was like, you do what we want you to do, or don't play at all.
You do you, boo boo.
Yeah, no. So it's like shit. It's shit like that. It's like you're forcing me to do shit I don't want to do. You're making me do everything 100 times over. It's just like, I don't want to play your game anymore.
Yeah,
so it's just like, I just completely gave up on it. It was like it might not have a subscription for it, but it was like, if you want to play like any of the new shit, it was like, oh, it's $100 a year. Pretty much.
Fuck.
So that's pretty much my rant. But it was like all that shit. It was like, cool. It was like, Destiny, you have like a pretty cool game. Like, your guns are unique. I like the abilities you give your characters, but it's just like everything else sucks. And it's like a lot of the important shit. So So that's why I was like, I like Destiny. I was like, no, I'm just like completely burned out. And it's like, I uninstall all your shit. I'm not going back.
Uninstalling. Never again.
Yeah,
0 out
but
of 10.
there's still a bunch of people that played. It's like, how can you still be playing this? It's probably because you're like, it's probably like those YouTubers like, my life depends on this. It's like, stop playing this. My income is over.
Like I said, it's just one of those games where it's like the people who play it and like it, it's the only game they play. It's all they have time to play to keep on top of everything. Or they just like shooting stuff, and that's all they like doing is just shooting stuff over and over and over again. So
That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I got. But you can go, Udon.
all right, well, unironically, prior to last month's game, I honestly probably would have said Legend of Zelda. Because I
But now you understand.
Yeah, I understand now, and Legend of Zelda was strictly from like I don't understand why this is so popular. It's not the like I don't think it's designed well. It's just like I don't get it. Now I get it, so not gonna talk about that.
Yay.
Corey's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about that one anymore. What else is he gonna shit on that I like? No, here we go. Fuck Souls-like games.
Knew it.
I don't like.
I knew it.
You literally could have said anything else.
I don't fucking like Souls-like games. I think they're all We're talking. You want to talk about the same fucking game over and over and over again? Talk to me about fucking Souls-like games. Fucking Dark Souls 1 through 3 is just the same shit, different day. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these games are bad. From a design standpoint, they're fantastic. They look great. They play like it controls well. It's like, but it's just the simplest shit, and people make it out to be so much more than what it actually is. And I think that's my biggest issue, especially when fucking Elden Ring came out. And again, I've played Elden Ring. I beat the whole thing. I've played it. I like it. It's decent. It's good. But god damn it, people hype these fucking games up way too much past their point. It's like everything has to be Souls-like. It's like suddenly we just decided that as long as you can dodge roll and fucking swing your sword, it's the greatest game design in the world. And
so
just...
you're talking about Souls-like is the genre more so than specifically the Dark Souls franchise or FromSoft.
No, well, here's the thing. I honestly am kind of talking about FromSoft in general because it's their fucking fault, is it not? It's the where it fucking came from. It's the reason it's called Souls-like is because Dark Souls invented it, and it's just it's
well,
interesting. Go ahead.
No, continue. I'll say it afterwards.
But so it's like I'm gonna pick on Elden Ring specifically because it's like I see everyone praise so much shit about that game. And it's just like, yes, it's like you're right to a point, but you're making it out to be way more than what it actually is. Because it's just like, wow, look at all the bosses in the game. I'm like, yeah, look at all these copy-pasted shitty little dungeons with just like, it's a fucking regular minion with a boss health bar. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's like, it's not a, there's like a handful of real bosses in the game, and then you're going to sit here and tell me, look at all these things you can fight. I was like, oh, you can explore the world. I'm like, yeah, explore the world. I don't have any idea where I'm going, and when I find shit, it's like, look at the treasure. I'm like, most of the shit I find is completely fucking useless. It's like, because I have to make a build or my character's going to be worthless. You can't just do whatever you want in that game. You need to like specifically make a build and like hyper focus on one thing. Otherwise your character's going to be incredibly weak and it's going to make the game incredibly hard. That's the other thing. It's like the game is hard. I'm like, no, it's not. No Souls-like game is fucking hard. It's like all the game is, if I want to beat the game, it's like the only reason anyone dies in this game is because you're getting too reckless and you're trying to fucking rush it. It's like
I think I said that today when talking about that is the thing that kills you the most in the Souls games is impatience.
Yeah, and I'll give them that. Like, it's like if I die in a Souls game, I'll give it this. Probably like 8 out of 10 times it's my fucking fault, right? But that other 2 out of 10 times, that's when I'm walking along and it's just like
it's a fucking dog.
It's like I'm gonna go walk through this hallway. It's like, oh lol, we placed an enemy around the corner that you couldn't possibly see. Oh, it stabbed you. You're dead now, lol. It's like, great, cool, that was fun. Thanks. I gotta walk all the way back there now because there was no way I could have seen that enemy coming. But whatever. It's like. I fucking say all this
blood boiling. I can hear the blood boiling. So I can agree with like the complaints that you're saying because like a lot of people when Elden Ring was coming out, like I love Elden Ring and I am very excited about the DLC. But a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, this is so crazy! Like this has never been done." And it's like, no, FromSoft just hasn't done this yet. We literally have The Witcher 3. We have Breath of the Wild. When people were praising that game for what it is, it's like they just changed the way they did Zelda games. That literally open world games have existed for a while now. They didn't just make this up. I mean, even Horizon Zero Dawn came out before this.
Well, it's just like, I mean, fucking, I don't even see the point of naming it an Elden Ring. It's like you just said Dark Souls Infinity or some bullshit like that. It's just like, it's dark, it's open world Dark Souls. I'm like, what does that add though? What have you added to this game that like, why is it even open world? I don't get anything from exploring other than my asshole reamed and treasure that's useless to me. It's like whoop-de fucking do.
Yes.
It's like,
well, mostly the asshole reaming is.
But then I see, and then I hit, then it's like, you know, but then I hear Corey play shit like this, and it's just like, oh man, what's this new enemy? When, you know, he's excited about it, and my reaction is like, oh fuck, how is this thing gonna fucking kill me? It's like, what? Because it's just like I just have to learn what the attack animation is. I have to sit there, stare at it, wait for it to do its attack, go stab it twice, back up, rinse, repeat for the next 120 hours, and fucking beat the game. That's the entire cycle to the game. It's like you only die because you fucking get reckless and trying to do some cool anime shit. When it's just like I can beat this game super easy. It's like just
doing cool anime shit. That's my next T-shirt idea.
It's just fuck. I don't. It's I like they praise it so much, and it just gets on my nerves. It's just I'm trying to think of like more specific things. Like I'll even praise it. Like music, fantastic. I'll never say the music isn't great. Like the actual boss designs, super cool. Like the creatures and shit, super cool. Who cares what context they're in? They're
the
cool.
lore is awesome because the YouTubers
fuck you. The lore can bite my ass.
Is not. I love the YouTubers like content.
I deny you. The YouTubers don't exist. I deny you. No, anything outside the game does not matter. Fuck those lore YouTubers.
No, I know that. I'm just saying. Like I like it makes for easy listening because of the but. It is very strange when people are like, "Do you know what the story is?" And I'm like, "Not really. I just know that I have to get this treasure chest because it has big sword."
I'll even deny you that further though, because like I've listened to some of the story. It's like this thing happened because this. It's like why? Because we said it does. It's like, oh, cool. I guess it's because it's like at the end of the game, I asked a bunch of my friends. I'm like, "Can you tell me one thing? Just one small thing." It's like, yeah, what? It's like, what the fuck is an Elden Ring? And they're like, I don't know. It's like good. I'm glad I played that entire game and have no idea what the Elden Ring is. I have no idea why these people worship fucking fingers. I have no idea what the Erd tree is or what it does or why I even burned it down. It's like I don't understand why people are upset that I burned it down. It's just, I don't get it.
This is weird. It's scary. It's like, why is this world so bleak? Everything's so bleak. How did everybody die? Why is there only 14 people alive still? But
that's the other thing too. It's not like
some of it, but
the world seems so empty, and this goes for like all the Souls games. I hated it because it's just like, especially in the first Souls, it's like, yes, it's the kingdom of, I almost said Avalon.
Boletaria is Demon Souls.
Not Demon Souls. What's the Anor Londo? So Anor Londo is like this huge city, and like the skybox and the shit in the distance looks really cool. But I would never believe you if you told me people lived here ever. Just like the architecture doesn't make any fucking sense.
They were just really big fans of flying buttresses. They were like, God, we got to put that shit everywhere.
But it's just like, wow, look at this vibrant land. Or you want to be the Dark Lord ending? It's like, Dark Lord of what? Fucking nothing? Because no one's alive. Yeah. Like, there's like 6 people alive in this world. Everything else is
there's that crestfallen knight. Even though I think the crestfallen warrior just still gets killed or whatever. But yeah, you're going to be like, I'm the king of you 3. And they're like, oh, okay.
It's just a world. And it's just like, I get why people play it, quote unquote, because people like boss fights. And I get that. I understand that you're probably playing it, but that's also the biggest thing I hear about anytime there's an Elden Ring game coming out, or fucking Souls-like, or anything from FromSoft. It's like, oh boy, here comes the boss fights, and I get it. Those are the highlights. I wouldn't deny that, and especially for me when it comes to Souls-like games, or games in general, I'm not a person who can think particularly fast. I need a second to like analyze a situation and like react according. No, Lizard Brain would react faster than me, but it's just like in the second like a boss starts an attack animation that's going to go all the way across the room and then ream me in the face. It's just like, what is it doing? Oh, I'm dead. It's like, oh, should I dodge or? Oh, I'm dead. It's like,
Just
it's
dead staring him.
Lick.
The thing that's, and it's interesting because like I've looked at the Souls games as 3D Metroidvanias, and it's because it's like there's a lot of backtracking.
you want to know what a 3D Metroidvania is? Go play Metroid Prime.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing, right? Is because like the Dark Souls games, they were like, oh, this is revolutionary, this is so crazy. And it's like it's just a Castlevania or Metroid game, but in 3D space because the worlds are all interlocking. Their side, outside of Dark Souls 2, that's the outlier. But and not to turn this into a Souls episode, but the Souls games, to me, I always like the level design. I always thought the level design was really cool, and like I'm a loot goblin, so that game totally appeals to me completely. But I would say
level
like
design Dark Souls 2
more so in the Souls like genre outside of the Dark Souls games. I feel like a lot of people just miss that mark completely. Because they just go, oh, people love it when the enemies have way too much health. And it's like, that's not why the game's good. You're missing like what makes that game good. Because I like Souls likes, so I play them. And I've played Surge, and I've played Mortal Shell, and I've played Hellpoint. That game is not really that fun. And I've played the Lords of the Fallen. That one really suffers from the fact that the effects are underwhelming. Not the newest one. The newest one's pretty cool, but I have my gripes with that one too. But Lords of the Fallen really fucked up with the whole I love Souls games because the enemies are hard as hell, and it's like, no, that just makes me hate your game.
Well, it's just like, I guess again with me, it's kind of special because it's just like I'm only saying this from a perspective of playing Dark Souls 1 through 3, Elden Ring, and Bloodborne. And it's just like because when I go to another game and as soon as I realize it's a Souls like I stop playing because I don't want to play it because I'm like because I did the same thing with the Stellar Blade demo. You're having a great time with it and there's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as I started playing Stellar Blade after it got past the first point in the demo where it was like, oh, you're in the field and now we're gonna put you in the first real like area, quote unquote, on Earth or whatever the fuck it was, and it was like. I'm like, and it's like, oh, here's your not campfire. I'm like, oh, fucking Christ, here we go. I thought this was going to be like Bayonetta or something, but no, this is going to be a fucking Souls-like, and sure enough, it's a goddamn Souls-like. I don't care what you say about it, changes later. I'm not going to fucking sit through the Souls-like to get to the part that's not Souls-like. But I'm just...
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's like 25% Souls-like and 75% Nier.
Yeah, I saw Corey play it. It was like, that's
still too heavy.
Less Souls-like than what I thought. But
it's still too heavy in the beginning. I don't want to sit through it. And like it fucking not only that, they already did the thing like 3 times just in the demo where it's like I saw a chest or I saw something in the distance in a building and I'm like, oh, what's that? And I go to it and it's like, oh, well, there's an enemy around the corner. It's going to smack you in the face, get a free hit. Oh, fuck you. You didn't see that. There's no way you could have saw that. It's like, cool. So you're going to train me to be fucking paranoid. Great. It's like when I'm fucking playing D&D and the DM is just like, everything's a mimic. So everything I go up to, I'm like, I touch it. I cast detect magic. I just like everything. Just treat me to be paranoid. Take all the fun out of everything.
Well,
pisses me off.
To be fair, there is the scan.
I know. Oh, trust me, I understand. There's the scan feature, but then, now I have to go around hitting the scan button literally every 2 seconds to make sure there's something around me.
Right, if you could bear with me.
I can see how that would be annoying because you're trying to figure out if you're going to get your shit pushed in or not around every corner. Right, and it has happened. I mean, I freaking scream every once in a while because, like, especially when I got to the equivalent of the horror map because they're like, oh, there's these things that take over dead humans. So they definitely do jump scares in that fucking zone. And you're like, that's not fair. They do half my health and damage when they do that.
Well, then I also played, what was it, Jedi Fallen Order or whatever?
Oh,
and
yes.
I was playing that, and I was, again, tutorial, the first part of the game. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm digging this so far. Then I get to the first planet, and it's like, oh, here's your, like, little campsite. I was like, no.
Oh.
And it was like, and it's like, oh, yeah, and everything respawns when you sit at the campfire, but you'll get your health restored. I was like, fuck this game. I'm done. It's like,
I have not played the new one. I haven't played the new one. I was very excited playing that one though, but obviously because I love playing the Souls games. And that to me is probably like one of the best Star Wars games outside of Force Unleashed. That's the real
Battlefront,
one.
fuck
But,
you.
well,
Good old
Battlefront's cool.
Battlefront.
Force Unleashed is more like Force Unleashed follows like the same guideline that like a lot of PS2
Force
games and
Unleashed is
stuff.
what I wanted. That's what I
Yeah,
thought I was getting, and then I get slapped, and then I fucking slapped in the face with the glory hole dick, being like, "Nah, it's a Souls." Like, fuck you.
the problem I have with Fallen Order is that they're using like live actors and they're 3D scanning them. And the planet that fucking what's his name, Darth Maul, like the planet his people come from. I spent way too much time on that fucking planet. But and you know, it is what it is. But that game, I think the problem with that game for me is they're like, it's a Souls-like. What makes Souls-likes good to me? I'm a loot goblin. Nothing in that game matters. Everything is cosmetic, and I hate that because it's like, oh, I found this new thing. What's it do? Nothing. I'm like, oh, nothing. Nothing you find in that game does anything. You can just make your lightsaber look really cool. Doesn't matter. No one's going to see it except me. It's a single player game. There's no damage buff. There's nothing. No gear, no armor. I'm just playing shit to find stuff so I can have a different coat on. And you could say, well, Stellar Blade has cosmetics.
Well, at least it's
Yeah,
cosmetic.
but at least she's
though.
hot.
Well, the thing is, at least I could have a cool looking lightsaber. You say you're a loot goblin, but then I'm going to redirect you back to Dark Souls and Elden Ring. And, like, yeah, you got a sword or something, but if you're making a magic build, what the fuck does it matter to you? It's more useless than garbage. It's like,
I just
you
wanted
get
Guts' sword because they have Guts' sword in there. But yeah, I was a
Well-
magic user. I was with Comet Azure cheese.
That's my point, though, is that, like, unless it is magic related, now all other loot in the game is completely irrelevant because it doesn't pertain to your build. So it's like, wow, look at this cool sword I'll never use. Guess I'll just stuff that in my pants and never take it out again. It's like, at least then you go back, I'll say, it's like, what if you were playing Star Wars Fallen Order? It's like, oh, well, I got a green lightsaber gem. At least I have, like, an option to make a green lightsaber, I guess. At least it's used, at least I can use it. And it's not, like, less than garbage. It might as well not even exist. I mean, fuck, I didn't even enjoy Elden Ring when I first played it. Again, what I was just saying about a second time around with something, or at least in this case, I was like, I played it, I was like, okay, cool, open world Dark Souls, this is terrible, I hate it. And then it's just like, oh, Ronnie's kind of cool. That's a quest line. I can like finish the game with her. Cool. I'm a fucking simp. Let's go. And I was just like, but then I was like, I'm not gonna dick around. I'm not gonna fucking explore or anything. I'm like, go to YouTube. Magic build. And it's like I just followed the map to get all the good magic items and then play the game because then the game was actually somewhat enjoyable for me instead of just wandering around my head cut off, being like, man, I really wish I could get something that was at all useful to me. It isn't just some random fucking garbage or some consumable I'll never use or some piece of fucking armor or something I'll never use because it's not part of my build. Because if you're all over the place in Dark Souls, you're going to be so weak, you're just going to be struggle busting the entire game. And then it's like, and then there's other times where it's like, it's almost asking, I guess, it's hard to hit on Bloodborne because I'll admit I really didn't play a lot of Bloodborne because I didn't really like it. I'm a defensive-ish player, so the fact that they forced you to get rid of the shield and it's all about dodging and doing I never really understoed the intuitiveness
thing.
Well, yeah, I never understood. It's like, it's a gun. It does no damage. It's used for countering. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, Sekiro is a very similar way. Like, Sekiro is like an aggressive game where it's like hesitation is defeat is the motto and you have to like parry everybody and like be on top of everything. But I dodge. I don't even use like a shield.
Dodge is the preferred
my
method because you don't take damage.
I know my character stresses Edwin out because I don't level up my health.
No, because you're a literal glass cannon. That's why you play that game. It's like, oh, your intelligence is 999. So you do max magic damage. What's your health? 10. It's like you maybe level it up maybe twice within like the 80 hours you put into this game.
Well, my philosophy is if it hits me, I die, so just try not to get hit. So like I just dodge everything. And then so playing Sekiro, that is not a good way to play that game, and it's really hard to adapt. Same thing I guess goes for like Armored Core, but like the other FromSoft games, they're not necessarily Souls-likes because they're a little bit different. I mean, Armored Core is just a mecha game, but people were all pissy because they were like, oh, they're just going to turn it into Dark Souls, but Armored Core has been hard forever. Sekiro is kind of its
But
own thing,
again,
I
it's like
guess.
it's not even hard because it's just like I already know what the
No,
gameplay
Sekiro's
loop.
hard.
Well, not
Oh,
Sekiro. I'm talking about
Sekiro is
Souls.
fucking tough.
I say I can't talk about Sekiro because I've never played it, but I'm talking
I do
about
have
regular
Lies of
Souls
P,
games.
and that's like a spin-off Souls-like game that I do want to play
It's just
because
a straight up
I
Souls like. It's just a
well,
straight
I
up.
played the demo and I thought it was really cool. It's more along the lines of like a Bloodborne like spiritual successor because we haven't got like a second Bloodborne game. And it's probably one of the better ones that another company has done because they just like in I say better, like obviously a lot of the stuff is the things that you're complaining about, but um like I like how close they got to what they used to be or what I like about Souls-like games because they don't do the nonsense that like Hellpoint might do or Lords of the Fallen and some of these other ones. Or I haven't. I saw that there's that crab game, that cute crab hermit crab one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
That one seems
secretly
kind of funny.
horrific.
Yeah, I've seen that though a while ago because of like Iron Pineapple's channel. He plays a lot of games like that, so
Yeah,
I've seen a
I
lot
even
of
watch
them.
that guy. Like, I'll watch shit about Dark Souls. I just don't want to fucking play it. And then the
Yeah,
other thing
I
is
have all
that
the
like,
art books. Like I just love the franchise. But like what you're saying is totally valid too, because it's like the play style, and that's just it seems what it is. Because like me with League of Legends, it's like the play style is what really kind of just like bothers me in general. Like if you can't, that's the thing you do the most. Obviously, like the world, it doesn't matter if the world's empty or full. If I can't play, if I don't like the play style, then like I won't get a chance to appreciate the other things
yeah,
outside
it's
of
like,
it.
and me
So
not liking the playstyle, I would never even say the playstyle is flawed. That's a subjective thing completely on my part. It's just, my problem is that when I see it, I'm like, I already know what the gameplay loop is going to be, and I don't want to do it. But then at the other hand, you'll see me be like, oh boy, it's like, oh boy, Pokemon, how is this going to play? All right, the same thing, let's go. It's like, there's just some certain gameplay loops are different things, but that's mostly a subjective thing on my end because, like I said, I just don't like the Souls-like loop. I find it incredibly boring because I know in order to win, in order to not get killed, I have to do this play really safe and defensively, and only just like back up, wait for the attack animation, swing 2 times, rinse, repeat for 120 hours. It's like,
Yeah.
yay, whoop-de-doo. I don't care. Any loot I get is fucking. And then, but when it comes to the loot thing, I feel like that's objective because you need a fucking build, but when you find the loot, it's fucking worthless. Like it's just not.
Even if I
I
can't use it though, I get pretty excited about finding stuff.
I mean,
Like
great.
I don't know.
When I'm walking down the sidewalk and I pick up a cool rock, I get pretty excited about that too. But it's
Yeah,
not going to help me.
that's just the side of it. It's like, oh, this armor looks dope as hell. It's like I'm not gonna wear it, but like it looks cool.
Exactly.
it's like, hang on, if you could bear with
Yeah.
me for a moment. It's like I hear your concerns, and I can agree that it's like to me, the one that I've played the most is Dark Souls 2. Don't ask me why. But as like that's like the most hated one, and then the one that I hate the most is the most overrated one, which is Bloodborne. I really don't understand why that one's so loved. I get that it's like more difficult than the others in a way of its own, and like the lore or like the design of it entirely is different from the Dark Souls game. But I still don't understand exactly why people love it so much. But for the reason why I feel like the Dark Souls games are like so popular is because you remember when we were talking about the replayability of RPG games and like the customizing and all that.
A
So
Western.
yeah, so it's like Dark Souls is like the hybrid of it, where it's just like yes, you'll get a bunch of useless shit, but like that's if you're not going for that build. Like you can customize it, you can like respec your character entirely from scratch, and then like just rebuild it entirely like mid game if you want.
Yeah,
But it's
I've
like
done that just to beat certain bosses.
yeah, but it's like some of it is like sometimes required, but that's up to you if you want to do the quest. But it's like you can replay the game over and over again. It's like do different builds. Like my friend, he's played that game like the Dark Souls games like twice as many times as I've choose to play it. But it's just like you can like I've seen a bunch of people like go for like oh all strength. But like me, I always go for like a sword spell or spell sword. There's like oh magic and like a sword. There's like I do physical and I do magic. But it's like yeah, a lot of stuff is going to be useless. But if I don't spec into it or if I choose not to, then yeah, it will be useless. But if I find something cool enough, I'm like cool, I can make use of this. But it's like there's also like a ton of items. Like you can go to like as Corey said, a loot goblin. It was like, I have like all these potions. I'm just gonna throw all of them and like do a bunch of damage because I have so many. But it's like also the reason why I assume they went to open world is because the Dark Souls games were more linear. So it would be somewhat hard to get like to specific areas or to get specific loots because it's like a mile down the road as opposed to open world where it's just like, yeah, it's a mile down the road, but it's open world. So you can go there anytime you want if you know what's there, if you already played the game before. So it's just more free roam in that sense. So if you want to get something, you just go there and get it. But like in a linear sense, you would have to go through like 3 bosses just to get to that one thing. So it's like less time in the game that you can play with whatever build it is that you want. So it's just like if you want something, you can just go and do it in Elden Ring, as opposed to Dark Souls. You have to go through like a specific percentage of the game in order to do what you actually want to do. And that shit was actually pretty annoying because I know in Dark Souls 2, I had to go through like a quarter of the game just to get like one spell that was actually useful to me. But then like the thing that people like about it is like it's more towards the later games because the earlier ones were more like actually unfair mechanic wise. But it's like the unfairness is what drives you to try and beat the game because like yeah, it drives you mad and all that, but like the fact that it's like beating a cheater at their own game. So it's like if you beat like a super difficult boss in your own way without like subjecting yourself to making a cheese build or something, or like Corey a glass cannon, then it was like, oh, this is like a moment of triumph for me. It was like I beat him in my own way. It was like, yes, I got super pissed, but yeah, like I love the feeling of triumph over beating a super difficult boss, regardless of the fact that I died 15 times to do it. So it's just like that's just like the whole Dark Souls experience, pretty much. But Bloodborne is like on its own because you don't really get to do as much customization.
Yeah, there's not a lot of gear in Bloodborne. Bloodborne's like item set is so low compared to the other games that like there's some cool stuff, but like it didn't really like that's my main complaint with Bloodborne is that there's not enough gear.
It's just like again, subjectiveness is just like the big draw that I see everyone going back to is like and I agree with what you said about the fact that Elden Ring lets you have a bit more openness in terms of what you want to do right away, only being limited by very certain specific things. I can see that, especially with Elden Ring, at least to keep it outish from the other Dark Souls games. Again, we're going back to the whole boss thing, and I have a hard time pinning down boss design, but it's like I can think of like for every good boss I feel like I fought in Dark Souls, and it's hard to pin down for me what I think of when I say a good boss, quote unquote. And when I say that, the first thing I think of is Orenstein and Smo, because I think that is probably one of the best boss fights in any video game. Because again, it not only gives you that triumphant feel, it not only is it like a skill check kind of checkpoint, because it's like, all right, you've been fighting one boss at a time up to this point, except for like the dogs and the Capra Demon, but I feel like that hardly counts. But then it's like, all right, cool. You have 2 bosses to fight at the same time, but they balance it so nicely because they don't just like rush you into a corner immediately. They like space out their attacks. They give you opportunities to counterstrike, even though there's 2 of them. And then you have like your phase 2, depending on who you kill first and all that stuff. But for every one of those, you have some kind of either worthless fight like the fucking Dragon Rider in Dark Souls 2, which is a literal fucking walking retard. But it's like you just drive him to the edge and he just walks off and dies, or the fucking the Pursuer that gets reused like 4 or 5 times. It's like great. It's like that. This is terrible. This is awful. Not even because it's hard. It's just boring.
Well, it's just like the Dark Souls game is just like keeping you on the edge and like making you look at your surroundings because like obviously the ultimate enemy is like you're either too chilled or relaxed or unaware. So it's just like yes, it's like paranoia, but it's just like if you were on that kind of adventure, what other feeling would you have going into like a D&D adventure?
Yeah, but I don't. Again, what I just said about even like Stellar Blade, it's like great. So what do you want me to do? Fucking hit scan every 2 seconds to make sure I'm not going to get fucking stabbed when I walk around the next corner out of that 18,000 corners. in the game. It's like, that's so lame. It's fucking stupid.
I mean, that's up to you. If you don't want to know what's around the corner, it's like, don't use it. But it's like, if you
I don't
feel
get
like you
fucking stabbed, so they're forcing me to use it if I don't want to just have to take the chunk of health every time I turn a corner. Like,
I mean,
everywhere I went, in that small area in the tutorial, there was like 3 of them. God knows what the rest of the fucking game had in store for me.
I mean, you don't even have a scan in Dark Souls. Like, if you don't know what's around the corner, or like Amelia rush past it, or like dodge roll, and then they won't
Yeah,
hit
But that's
you.
why
but
it's douchey. You don't have a chance. That's why I think, say, design like that's just fucking douchey. Because unless you
the
had
Souls games,
prior
the Souls games
knowledge.
are mental maps because of the punishment that you've suffered, and like that kind of does suck. Like if you found maps in that game that might make things a little different, if you could like not
there
scan obviously, but
there
like
aren't maps in Dark Souls.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. Is if like you found like a paper map and you can kind of like see, oh, this is the layout of a dungeon or something. Not like in the same sense of like Zelda, but just some sort of instance, because a lot of the like I know where things are in Dark Souls because I played it a ton.
Exactly.
There isn't any sort of like indication of like the layout of the level. You're just kind of walking in the dark.
It's like
basically.
I turned the corner and I got stabbed because there was
Yeah.
no way I knew there was like when you walk down, what was it, let's say you're walking down the in Dark Souls 1, you walk down the Undead Burg for the first time, and
Yeah,
you don't know that
ghost.
when you walk down there's going to be like 3 guys that jump out of the fucking buildings, and before you even know what's happening, they're already stabbing you. It's like, cool, I
Yeah.
didn't fucking know that was there. It's like, there was no way I could have known that was there. But and it's just like, it's just like those are instant. They use shit like that all the time in all the games where I'm just like, in fucking just feels like the developers just being a dickhead. It's just like, I got you. I'm like, yeah, you fucking got me. Are you happy? You fucking proud of yourself?
Yeah,
And then
enemy placement doesn't necessarily dictate good level design. Like it can, but it also like because you can set up enemies for like challenges by mixing enemy types for the player to experience. But usually, if you're just gonna literally set a Home Alone trap, it's kind of like, God damn it!
Yeah.
And most of the time when I die from those, that is the feeling I have. I'm not like, oh, you bested me. I'm more like, God damn it!
yeah, it's like, wow, it took me fucking 30 minutes to get here.
I just
Thanks,
dropped my fucking
dickweed.
souls there, and now I have to go back to that spot and grab them.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
like,
just kind of what it is.
and I do think, like, even like, again, I'll praise some of the game design, because I think like the use, how Estus flasks work, is like, that's a really good way to like, that's like your resource from getting from point A to or one bonfire to the next, because it's less of a health potion, more just like a gauge of how many mistakes you can make between here and there, so to force you to like get good, the moniker of get good, which is also why people don't like Dark Souls 2, because life gems ruin that entire balancing act already. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I was gonna say something else about it though. I was annoyed. Oh, so yeah, you want to talk about shitty game design? Fucking, I was talking about mimics in D&D. Let's talk about fucking mimics in goddamn Dark Souls. So in the first Dark Souls game, the first, you get to a fucking chest, you're not gonna know the telltale signs, so you're gonna open the chest and you're gonna fucking die. And then you're like, oh fuck. So when you go back to that chest and you know it's a mimic, you're gonna stare at it for a second and realize the chain is placed in a different way. And if you stare at it for long enough, like, it'll breathe. And so now, every single chest you're going to see from now on, you're going to stop and examine to make sure it's not a mimic. And of course, there's probably like 5 or 6, 7 other mimics in the game. But then you get to Dark Souls 2, and you already have the mentality from Dark Souls 1. But then there's like no mimics at all. But yet you're going up to every single chest being like, you alive? You're going to fucking kill me? And it's just like, no, I'm a piece of wood.
To be fair, too, I think that like the mimic, it's cool that they have this like monster that can eat you, but they should give me a chance to go, oh shit, and then like if I press like circle at the right time, that I dodge it from grabbing me.
Yeah,
because
again,
like literally opening a mimic is just an instant death, and then it does kind of make you scared of every single chest, because you can walk up and kick it or hit it, and then if you kick it or hit it, it'll get up if it's a mimic, and it's like, okay, so there's a way to get around it, but it's still kind of like, well, what if I had a chance to just be like, nope, and like back up, but it has to be a small window, so like a skill thing, and then that makes the player feel good about it. So even you wouldn't feel so hesitant, and you might still look at it to see if it is a mimic, but if you were just like oh, there's your treasure chest, and you're doing the whole like, was it my mentality in the Souls games or items are forever. So like, if I can see a chest and I don't have a lot of heals left, I'll just run to it to try to open it to get the item. So that like, I was like, whatever, I die, I still got the thing.
Mhm.
But it's like, imagine past a bunch of fucking enemies and then opening a chest and it just eats you, and you're like, well, I could have
it's
just
the
got killed by
developer going-
anybody else.
Yeah, the developer's just pointing at you doing the Simpsons thing where it's like, ha ha. It's like, cool. Thanks,
Yeah.
bro.
Was like the mimic thing was like I have no idea how to tell from a chest to a mimic. It was like what I usually do is just like either hit it once very lightly, because if it's an actual chest and you break it, you also break what's inside. Or you can hit it once and it'll react if it's a mimic, but you can also just like move the camera, and if it doesn't phase into the chest, then it's a real chest. But if it's a mimic, then the camera will phase into the chest, and you can just see flesh and teeth.
Well,
That's how
there's
I told of it.
Well, there was telltale
Well-
signs because the chain next to the chest will be placed in a certain way if it's a mimic, and if you stare at it for like half a second, it'll breathe. Like
Right.
if
I
it-
think its elbows actually are interpenetrating the mesh of the model too, so like the elbows are kind of poking out of the back.
Yeah, I have no
point
idea
being
about
is
any
that
of
like even if it's just as simple as like, all right, every chest I come across, I'm gonna whack. It's like you're still instilling me a state of paranoia where now I have to hit every chest I see. In every Dark Souls game from now on, I'm going to hit every chest I see. Which is when I say in Stellar Blade, when they teach me really early on that every other corner is gonna have fucking some enemy hidden behind it, I'm just going to sit here and you scan every 5 seconds, and it's gonna be really annoying to hear that sound and see that animation play over and over and over again for the next 120 hours. Because if I don't do it, I'm gonna get stabbed by some assholes fucking waiting around the corner for me. So it's just it's
You
just
can level
aggravating.
it up though. You can level up your scanner so that the information stays longer on the screen.
I still have to hit the
Which
fucking
is
button.
but still, yeah, you still have to do thinking. So
Well, I mean, the game, like the Dark Souls game, is like literally about dying. So it's like they're gonna induce like cheap ways to kill you.
That's
It's
okay.
like
So
also
please tell
lore-wise.
me
I think
on
it's
what.
more about
Please
surviving.
tell me on what alternate plane of reality that translates into fun and good game design.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's just
No, I
like
think
it's just like the surprise, and then like the like on the
You know what else is a
the
surprise?
unknowing and
You know what else
things
is a
like
surprise
that,
is
but-
if you're walking down the street and some fucking asshole comes up and kicks you right in the balls. That's a real big surprise, isn't it? I bet that felt really good.
Yeah,
That's
well,
spicy
Yeah,
up
the
your day.
I think that
the unexpected stuff. It was like if you're unprepared, it was like, well, it was like if it was like
I shouldn't
Yeah,
have to
this
be
is-
prepared for a dude to fucking kick me in the balls outside my house.
well, I was like not
at any
not like-
moment you
not
can
like-
get kicked in the balls, but
not
not
like
today.
that, but not like that. But if you're
No,
just
but that's the parallel.
if you're
That's
just
what I'm saying.
hoarding if you're hoarding a bunch of shit and it's like and then you die, I was like, well, it was like you probably should have spent all that money you were carrying instead of just.
What if it
eating
wasn't
got a
it.
hoarding it?
wallet in
What
your
if the fucking
pocket, and I'm
campfire
gonna
was
kick
just
you in
like
the
100
balls.
miles away? It's just like, oh man,
So,
those
well,
groceries look really heavy. Is that a fucking vase for your mom? Kick. It's like, haha, sucks
Yeah.
to be you.
I think the Dark Souls games. I think that, like, because your statement of being about death, I think that's where. And again, I don't want to turn this into a Souls episode, but I think the thing that a lot of the spin-offs of Souls likes get wrong is that they focus on it's about dying and doing it again, because that's what roguelikes are for. That's not what the Souls games are. The Souls
Yeah, but
games
that's
are
how-
about
yeah.
survival, because you get awarded for surviving, not dying. Because when you die, it's a problem, and then you die again, and you lose your progress.
Yeah,
So-
roguelikes, when you die, it's a reward because you're getting stronger, because you're going to come back.
Yeah,
better.
and a lot of those Souls-like games are like, oh, yeah, everybody likes dying and coming back, and it's like, no, stop making your enemies so fucking hard, and don't do that. And Elden Ring, I think its open world aspect could have been amplified in a sense. The only way that I think we could improve that game is that if the game leveled with you, so that you could truly go anywhere you wanted in any order you wanted, but that
Actually
game
make a bunch
really
of
does have a
awesome-
linear path that you have to do, because if you were to go to a certain place, you could skill check it, but it is a struggle bus. Like if I'm level 20, the world could adapt to how strong I am, but it actually gates you by having enemies that are fucking tough if you're not ready for that spot. Dark
I can at
Souls
least,
does that too, but that's because the game is linear. So when you get here, the game knows you'll roughly be about this soul level.
Well, I mean,
And
you
so
said
that's
you
why
said
the
it
enemies are
yourself
strong.
you said it yourself that it was like even though you're like very very late game, it was like if you're very chill or uncaring, then like even the most basic enemy can kill you because they have like some kind of combo that hits you like 20 times.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get killed by a torch bro just from like, or a dog that's just ape shitting you right now because you just didn't see it. And that is a cheap death, but at the same time, you're like, well, you should have been paying attention, I guess.
I mean,
But the torch guy is a cheap death because
no, I will agree. There's like some bullshit and like Dark Souls, like the mimic and stuff. But there is one thing I'm pretty sure I was killed at by it by one point. But there is like a gimmick enemy in Elden Ring. It's a random dog, I think, in one of the churches, where it does have the capability of killing you instantly for no apparent
but it
reason.
doesn't.
It does. It does kill you instantly, and it's like it's not patched away or nothing. It's just something that happens for whatever developer reasons place here. I don't know. It's just the thing that I read about. It's just like this thing has existed since launch. It's like why don't they remove it? It was like this is definitely a gimmick.
Well, like fucking I'll try and bring it back to Elden Ring because I wanted to address Souls-like in general, but I wanted to hit on one subject. So if we did like an entire Souls-like episode, I had other things to talk about, but I'll just bring it up again there in a different context. But I can at least praise Elden Ring this. They don't force me to do everything, and but at the same time, that means there's plenty of extra content in the game that wasn't required to beat it because I never even touched the fire manor or whatever the fuck it is. That exists, and this also speaks to like what I even value in a game. It's like Melania is not required to beat the game. I never fought her, and I never will because I don't give a shit. I'm like, as I see like a video of someone fighting her, I'm like, wow, that looks like awful. I'm never doing that. Fuck you. Because I just have no desire to like play against a boss that looks like it's just like, all right, I'm gonna do my anime tornado move now. Now you die. It's like cool. It's great.
Yeah, it's like yeah, she literally only exists if you want to undo something that you did accidentally. But even then, if you somehow did it accidentally, it was like it's pretty obvious this is a bad idea. But hey, if you want to undo it, then it was like cool. Here's the hardest boss in the game. So like your accidents are come at a very heavy cost.
Well, I think we know where you stand on the Souls games.
All right, so let me start on Elder Scrolls. I mean, let's see. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and go on to Jordan because if I get on Elder Scrolls, I'm gonna get on a whole nother tangent.
Yeah, so I guess
We have to do it too distant.
Yeah, but is it? I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit more, as I know everybody's been going around with just the regular games out there. Mine specifically is against the sports games. I cannot stand any about Madden, 2K, FIFA, whatever the hell you call it. Shit, I don't see why that is fun. If it really is a sport that you really do enjoy, then go outside and play it. I mean, I don't know. It's fucking weird to me that you're watching another grown-ass man getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport, and you're not even playing as like somebody made up. It's a real person, and you guys are playing a simple ruled game, and there's nothing else that's going about it that makes it fun. But yet, every year, another one comes out, and it's better than the before, and people just rock it out, and I just don't fucking get it. I know this will be short because I know no one really knows much about the games, but I can't fucking stand them.
Jordan. Fucking preach!
Thank you. I thought you were going to defend it. I was like, Edwin? What?
No, fuck that shit.
I think FIFA makes up like 40% of EA's like profits, which is crazy. Because I think it should be a free to play. I think Madden should be a free to play, and they can figure out free to play models. I know that they could because it's easy. I mean, Fortnite's doing it, and they could just do exactly what Fortnite's doing and do seasonal updates where you have to get battle passes if you want the new product or like the new people. Because the thing that they make all their money from is releasing like character packs. So just do that, but make the game free. But they're like they want the initial 70 in sales. However, because a lot of the people that play like FIFA are from like, you know, South America and other countries that are really about soccer or I guess football, they would totally play the shit out of a free-to-play because they're also the primary consumers of free-to-play games. And I don't know why I would play FIFA when I could just play Mario Strikers.
That is so true,
That's
man.
so much more fun.
Waluigi.
It's so much more fun to play
Stay
like
Peach.
any of the Mario like sports games or whatever are so much more fun than the other ones because and it's like I could go play baseball. I played baseball when I was younger. I had football practice in high school.
It was the fucking best.
It's like it's whatever, but like I don't want to do that at home on my couch. Like I mean, I played Blitz. I still have Blitz on GameCube, and that was fun because you could just tackle the hell out of people and
that one's
like
different.
Break their bones or whatever. And it's like it has gamification, but like when you play Madden, there is no gamification. It's more of like a simulation in a sense.
Yeah, I could be doing this in my backyard, but no, I'd rather do it from my couch.
Yeah, but I don't have any friends or a football.
I mean, the amount of people that are playing it, they could all fucking find a field and play. That's what they could do.
My feelings. Yeah, it's funny because like, what was the other one? Like the UFC game, like. It's just the UFC game is a bad fighting game.
Yeah, but you can make a fucking huge, just like horrible monster mongoloid in the fucking creative character.
Yeah, the creative that thing's funny, but it's just a terrible fighting game. I could play Street Fighter. That's way cooler.
It's just terrible.
Okay,
it's all right. I don't think it's gonna compete in the same rings as Mortal Kombat. I don't think fucking Sam Jones and the
I know,
MMA
but
is
I'm
gonna be
saying
able
like
to beat Scorpion or anything.
People that are playing it, it's kind of what was the boxing one? There was a fight night, I think.
Yeah, fight night round, whatever.
Wii Sports.
But fight night, the thing that was funny about that game, What was funny was like the knockouts or whatever. Like, and I believe that's the funny part of the UFC games too. Is like you could knock out somebody in like the first second of the match, but like outside of that, like I just never saw the appeal of FIFA.
War if you're gonna have fun, that's what you want to play.
Yeah, God, that game is surprisingly really fun. That is a very underrated game. Because I don't know, and it's really hard because I don't think you can play it anywhere except for like on PS3 digital store.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
I just know you try to pick a fight with a pirate and he pulls out a fucking gun and shoots you right in the face and ends the fight.
Yeah. If the RNG is in your favor and you're the pirate, you'll just kill everyone you fight because he has a fucking blunderbuss and a grenade. So it's. Or you're the Viking and you just double spear it, and as soon as the match starts, you can just fucking spear in their face and they're dead.
All right. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, okay? I'm gonna look at it from a perspective of because don't get me wrong, the only sport I even can remotely enjoy watching is basketball, and that's only because it moves the fastest out of anything I've seen. And I still vastly prefer playing Mario. Insert Mario plus whatever sport here game rather than any of the realistic Madden, FIFA, what the fuck ever. But the thing is, those are games designed because when it's like, oh, it's just a guy. It's like, but we're not seeing it from the sports fans' perspective because we don't give a shit about sports.
Because these like their hero.
It's like these people are larger than life to them. They may be real people, but it's the whole celebrity mentality. It's like it's their team. They know these people. Like, I mean, I wouldn't claim to fully understand why people like sports, but then again, I think they can say the same thing for me. Why the fuck I like anime or why the fuck I like Lord of the Rings. They don't
titties.
Well, that's not why I watched Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
Yeah, not what it's. Yeah, but it's the same thing though, right? It's like what if it's like they see their heroes in reality and then they can play them in this virtual setup. What if they always wanted to watch this guy, this team, play against this team in this field or whatever, and you get to control them or whatnot. It's the same thing. Yeah. Like if you go way back when, it's like I read Lord of the Rings and then it's like, man, I love Gandalf and everyone. It's like I wish I could play a video game with them, and then the fucking video game was like, oh my god, I could play Lord of the Rings. Yay, it was just a book. It's like it's a hero mentality. And plus these games are for people who don't play video games. Like I say, I fucking said it a few times already. With Destiny and GTA, people who play games, it's the only game they play. But then there's the people who's like they buy an Xbox or they buy a PlayStation just to play FIFA or just to play Madden because that's the only video game, quote unquote,
they
they
put
play.
hundreds of hours
Yeah.
into those games.
But it's because that's all they like. Because they don't like fantasy, sci-fi. They don't like all that crazy shit. They're not the people that are even going to see those movies or anything. It's just a mentality. And unfortunately, it's a very large well, maybe not so much unfortunately, but the reality of the situation is that makes up a large population of people that don't give a shit about the vast majority of video games that like sports better, and they will only play the sports video game.
So boring.
Hot. There you go.
I mean, I understand, like,
boring to you, but not to
overrated. That's the overrated aspect of it, right? Is like us looking at it, going like, I don't fucking get it. And it's funny too because like there's a lot of people that were playing like FIFA and Madden that would be like, those Final Fantasy games are for nerds, and I'm like, we're playing on the same console. You're just playing a different game.
Yeah, exactly.
And you might even have put more hours into your game than I have Final Fantasy, but I'm the nerd because I like fucking Fire 3.
Yeah, right.
You're pretending to be a football team that's winning a season, but like, that's the difference, right? Is like, I don't like me looking at Final Fantasy going like, oh, this adventure is so awesome. Like, I would love to do like, I feel so like a part of this journey, and then like that person playing like their favorite team on Madden is like, I'm winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I ran 20 yards.
That's the thing. Yeah, dang, I threw that pass to that guy, and it's kind of, or I beat that team I hated from the that time they beat me. Like I understand like the fan base because I have friends that are like diehard sports fans too, and it's funny hearing them talk about it because like I can talk about games and like anime and nerd culture and like great depths. And then I'll have a friend who can tell you every player on every team and all of their stats for this year. And I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand. How do you keep track of that? But it's like the same thing where like, how do you keep track of all the games that you're playing? And
it's literally just another mentality, right?
It's a fandom, right?
You look, I mean, I go to Celtics games all the time when I go up to visit my father in New England, and because again, it's the only sport that I can stand to watch because it's the only one that actually moves. But because unlike baseball and football where it's just like fucking set the ball up, everyone hits each other, and then we start over again. But it's like
I hit it far. I run half circle.
But I can even extend it to like NASCAR and shit like that. But it's like I look at that stadium full of people, and when they fucking they make the slam dunk or they make the home run, they make the touchdown, and you have hundreds, thousands, millions of people crying out loud, being like, "Woo!" And they're loving it. And I'm looking at them and be like, they're clearly getting something out of this that I just don't see. Because this many people can't be wrong, question mark. Not that I'd say it's wrong. It's a bad way to phrase it. But it's like, people who watch NASCAR, it's like, I'm just here to watch the car crash. It's like...
You see an audience, and then there's a lot of people, you're like, they must be onto something.
Yeah, it's like...
This whole place is sold out.
Yeah, it's like, they're again, it's just like... They'll take me to, I'll go to a game and they'll be like, yeah, that was a great game, wasn't it? I'm like, I guess it was entertaining. And then I'll turn around, put on Lord of the Rings on fucking, turn on, it's like, hey, you got 12 hours to spare? I got something to show you.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it on and I'll turn around and be like, huh? And it'll be like, that was fucking lame. It's like, oh.
Fuck you.
Get out of my house.
It's interesting too because I don't play a lot of these.
In your wizard uniform, get out.
I don't play a lot of those sports games and stuff.
You shall pass out the door.
Like Gran Turismo is like a guilty pleasure. Like I like playing that game, and I would consider it a sports game because it's very like, it's like racing sim. You're building the car out and stuff. But I also like Top Gear. Like I like that show, and that kind of directly correlates with what you're saying. Is like it's an interest, and it's a product that lets people of that interest experience that interest in not a firsthand way, but like a way that is, I guess, accessible. Because obviously I can't go play professional basketball, but like I can play NBA 2K and be like, oh, this is cool. This is the thing I like. Like I'm not going to go buy a freaking Lamborghini, but I can spec one out and take it on the track and like for $70 because I bought a game.
Right.
Well, it's like it's like the generalization of like sports games to me. It's just people chasing balls. But it's like for racing games, it's like that's
Metaphor of
like
life.
yeah. So it's just like for racing games, it's different because like here's a car you'll never be able to afford, but you can also customize it as if you would a character.
Well, that goes back to
But
what we were talking about GTA. It's wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
well, it's like it's different from GTA. It was like GTA is just like more of an irritation to me than anything else. But it's just like, well, I mean, for at least in Forza Horizon, I don't have to spend $100 just to get a damn car, just a single one. But it's like the sense of imagination is like the difference between like a sports game and like I don't know Elder Scrolls and things like that, where it's just like, well, Lord of the Rings, just like you like the idea of like this like an imaginary world and like the supernatural and all that, and then like everyone else like they like the reality and like seeing their celebrity like on stage or on the field or doing something that they also like, which is could be as basic as freaking Superman building a PC like from scratch or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be real. Fucking some Hollywood actor like him being super nerdy is kind of cool. Though it's not a lot of people like him.
Yeah, it's like I didn't even watch any of his movies. It was like him building a PC. It was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But so it's just like a slight connection.
It's like Terry Crews finding out that like he was building a PC and was asking people to help him and stuff because he wanted to bond with his son. And I was like, that's really awesome, you know. But it's like how many of those exist, really, you know.
Yeah.
It's far and few between.
But I mean, bringing it back to sports games too, another factor that I don't know how it is for all sports, but I know it is for like American football. Like the actual games, I believe, only take place a couple months out of the year, right? So it's not like a year-long thing. So like the people who are really into football, once they're done watching all the games and the Super Bowls over with, they got to wait like a long time.
Yeah, it's like how do they get content? College
they play
ball,
the games.
maybe.
Yeah, it's like they play the football games.
Yeah, I would say college basketball is way more popular than college football, anyways. So it's like I never hear anybody talking about college games when in regards to like hockey or like football. They always are talking about like college basketball.
Well, it's probably like the entertainment between seeing professionals and amateurs.
Well, I mean, I would almost say that I hear more people talk about college basketball than professional basketball. So
it almost mean like let's put it in nerd mentality. It's like when you watched when you first saw a YouTube channel that was only like 1,000 subscribers, but then like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, they're at like 1 million, and you're like, I was there at the beginning.
Yeah. And boy, have I seen YouTube channels like that.
I only had one of those. I don't know if anyone's watched Alpha Rad, but I watched his videos when he only did like Smash compilations like really early on, but now he has like fucking 2-3 million subscriber channel and collabs with that Jaden Animations a lot. So
I feel like I've heard Jaden Animations before.
You 99% sure she did a lot of stuff with like Odd Ones Out and stuff. She's one of those like animator things. She's done Pokemon Nuzlocke. I like her. She's cool. I like those Nuzlocke videos.
Yeah, she's really cool. But we're also off topic.
Slightly off topic.
That's a pretty good topic, Jordan. Though, like his sports games, like in general,
put my fire out.
Everybody's
coping with it.
I had to play devil's advocate. You just can't hate something because you don't understand it, you bigot.
No, I didn't see anybody playing devil's advocate for Destiny.
Destiny's so sweet.
It's literally what we've been doing this entire time. Somebody likes something and then the others don't like it as much, or blah blah blah, vice versa.
Here's the thing: it's like to me. Okay, so here, let me explain the difference between playing devil's advocate for Destiny. Okay, I'll play devil's advocate for fucking Madden and sports games because I don't fully because we're talking about two different worlds of people that their toes are just dipping into ours when it comes to video games. They just also happen to have a massive population of the world that likes sport ball, whatever it be.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Destiny, those people are in my court, and I can look at your shitty ass game and tell you exactly why your fucking shitty game is shit. Okay, I can tell you why that's garbage. I can only guesstimate on what they're thinking.
Well, the issue was it's just like the issue between like video games and the like sports games is just like there's a lot more factors in something like Destiny than in like a sports game. It's like, oh, you kicked the ball wrong. Meanwhile, in Destiny, it was like, oh, You did not dodge a giant blast attack on time,
But is it
or
though?
you did,
Do
or
you
didn't
understand?
use
Have you
something
played it? What
different.
if instead of just hitting a ball, it's like, okay, let's take American football, for example. It's like, okay, we
You
got to
missed
set
your
our guys up depending on where we are in the field. We got to pay attention to the wind, who's kicking the ball, what direction, how are we going to go about it? Are we going to like fake them out or whatever? Like there are factors that go into it. We just don't see it because we're not into sport ball.
Yeah. I would almost say like the golf games too. I mean, coming in like I don't want to like dive too deep into it, but obviously if you put Mario in front of it, it's probably more fun anyways.
Way funner.
But
I
would
mean,
say,
I
like,
would
the thing that's
wager
funny
anything
is
is more fun if I can throw shells at people.
the appropriate like the weird part of like sports games in a sense is like somebody could put 1,000 hours into Madden and I can put 1,000 hours into Elden Ring and I'm the nerd.
Yeah,
Both of us have played 1,000 hours of a video game.
that's
But
why.
culturally, that's just where it is.
Because you're not
So
playing
it's kind of
something in
fun,
the real
and
world.
I know that that's kind of like, well, neither, I mean, I guess I could say neither are they, but because we're both just playing a video game, but it's just, that's kind of where like the gaming culture is, and it has kind of always been. It's just, like I said earlier, when I played Final Fantasy in elementary school and people thought I was nerdy, but they're playing, Call of Duty, and that's not nerdy for some reason. And it's just a matter of perspective.
Let's bring up like fucking middle school trauma and be like, oh, those people were mean to me. Fuck those guys.
the wedgies.
I don't like your stupid sports game. You made fun of me. I just want to play Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
See, we can bridge the gap. We can make an attempt to understand their world.
Well, I mean,
now that I'm done playing Devil's Advocate, go outside and fucking play basketball. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, I'd rather play golf.
I just want to go to a driving range. I don't want to go get it after I hit it because I hit it pretty far, and I don't want to walk over there.
I want to throw a chain shot at somebody. I just want to play mini golf.
Yeah, I'm just at the I'm banned from golf courses because I keep chucking turtles at people. I'm also banned from PetSmart because I keep buying all their turtles. Sir, no. I'm like, oh.
Well, we don't have any
your
more.
bucket of turtles back.
I need an equal amount of turtles for all these mushrooms I have.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So how many turtles do you got today? How much are they a piece? What do you need them for? I don't know. Just put them in this bucket.
Florida man, high on shrooms, chucks turtles at people on golf course.
That's probably not. That's probably a headline somewhere. If we look far enough back, I'm sure we'll find it.
Fucking some dude held up a drive-through with a fucking alligator. I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, that would be
Florida.
terrifying if I was working in the freaking drive-thru and a guy came at me with a goddamn alligator. I don't know how to handle that situation.
I'd throw whatever whoppers he want at him. Fuck it.
Sir, you can have all the chicken nuggets you want. I don't know how to deal with this. This did not come up in the guidebook.
I wasn't trained for this.
Yeah, that's actually a Grand Theft Auto moment right there. That's
when they had to have these segments of the training fucking video. It's like, so if a man comes at you with an alligator.
Yeah. You've been approached by a man with an alligator. Here's what to do.
Yes, this did happen.
Question your life choice isn't working here.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to? Are we done here? Or do we want to move to trivia?
I think so. If I'm looking at the time correctly, yeah, we should probably move some trivia.
What do we got?
All right, it's trivia time. So, question number 1. In Grand Theft Auto 5, Lamar is the best friend to which character? Is it A, Lester, B, Amanda, C, Trevor, or D, Franklin?
D.
I want to say Franklin.
It's D.
Lester.
Answer is Franklin. Lamar Davis has been a close friend since childhood. Lamar often helps Franklin with his missions and provides comic relief throughout the game.
I was gonna say Franklin specifically because Corey named a specific character Franklin.
Yeah, well, you said D was Franklin. I just said D. I knew it was, like I said, played through that game 3 fucking times. He's the one. Lamar's the one that does the funny scene that I can't repeat because it has a bad word in it.
It's like you swear all the time. What are you talking about? I was kidding.
Yeah. the one word I can't say.
I don't have a punch card. All right, so the second one, question number 2. In Fortnite, what is the objective of Battle Royale? Is it A, be the last team to survive, B, earn the most kills, C, accumulate the most points, or D, escape the map first?
Or E, all of the above.
Whatever quests
That's
I
how I
need
want
to
to
do.
play it. Yeah, usually. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously for Battle Royale, it's to be the last one standing. But usually it's whatever quest I'm trying to freaking complete so I can unlock the stupid Battle Pass shit.
Battle Royale is just the same thing anyway, so it's always the same.
You win. That's the objective.
Yep, correct. Yep, be the last team to survive. All right, let's go on to question number 3. The fight with Mog. He has 2 exploits. Gravity, magic, and what in the Elder Scrolls?
Okay, I was going to say, I'm like, first name the game because I have no idea what you're
Elden
talking
Ring.
about.
Elden Ring. I read that wrong. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring?
Yeah.
What's the name?
Wait, repeat it again? Repeat the whole thing again, now that we know it's Elden Ring.
In Elden Ring, the fight with Mog, he has 2 exploits. Gravity, magic, and what? Is it A, poison, B, frostbite, C, blood loss, or D, scarlet rot?
Mog.
Are
you talking about the
Scarlet Rot?
Scarlet Rot, yeah, probably.
What they said.
The answer was blood loss.
He's the god of blood, are you serious?
Oh, Moog! Okay, yeah, the Lord of Blood.
You nerds, you let me down with your shitty overrated game.
Well, you didn't say his full name. I was like trying to remember what the hell, and I'm like, it's the optional boss down in the freaking.
Hang on. Wait, what?
It's poison.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that's gonna be bullshit because literally, it's like if you're the god of something and Elder Scrolls or a Dark Souls game, you're gonna be the most resistant to what you're the god of. I was like, how?
I am Poseidon. What do? I'm the god of bananas.
Yeah. Don't ask how I got my name. I just.
The title's the god of water, and I control everything banana related.
It's like I'm the god of bananas. What's my weakness? Bananas. That was the
I
logic
keep them
with
all
that
near me
guy.
because I don't want someone to surprise me with one.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess.
Hey, this is Corey, and thanks for checking out Mediocre Rumble Brothers. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you didn't, that's fine too. If you'd like us to talk about any specific games, drop a comment below, or feel free to discuss your experience with the games that we mentioned in the episode. You can also listen to our episodes prior to YouTube on our Spotify. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.